Hello and welcome everybody to this week's episode of the McDonCast.
Fired.
Tucker, you can't be saying things like that. You can't be saying those kind of words.
Oh no.
Nah, we'll cut that out. Anyways, hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the McDonCast. We've been gone a little bit, you guys. In case you haven't noticed, let's I can't change the volume on here.
Wow, this episode's off to a great start.
Here we go. Okay, yes. We've been gone for a little while.
About a month.
We had finals, and then, I had midterms, and then we had spring break, and then we had other stuff, and now we're here. We are here now, and it's episode time.
Different state for a
Tucker
week.
was in New York City. Tucker, how many celebrities did you kiss while in New York City?
Zero.
Oh,
Fully, I
that
broke
sucks.
it into Good Morning America. But have kissed
done
Michael
that.
Strahan.
You could have stood out in the with one of the those people that just stand behind there. And that's all they
the
do.
lady who plays Anthea in Shazam walked by where our hotel was 10 minutes after me.
That's so. How do you even know that? Do you have access to the city security footage?
No, because pictures of her walking were on Twitter 10 minutes later.
Was it that hotel where all the rooms are really tiny? And the whole hotel's painted black? Is it that one?
Was black.
Was there a strip club across the street? Oh, then it was a different hotel.
There was an Irish bar.
When we went, there was a strip club across the street from the hotel we were at.
Sick.
Max said he wanted to go, but he doesn't have a
Max is in the room, by the way.
He's eating McDonald's off camera.
He's not going to do
They
the
know
show,
now.
though.
He said they can't know, but you
and
guys
we
know.
were going to call Pat. Well, we did call Patrick, but he fell asleep. And
He said he could be here.
Yep, he said he'd call, and then we called him, and he doesn't respond. So our best guess is that he sat in bed for 3 minutes and then immediately fell asleep.
Yeah, that's what he usually does. Alrighty. Anyways, let's get into it. We've spent enough time prancing about, prattling about, stroking the salami. We're going to get things going.
Hey! Anyway,
All right, starting
so we're
things
gonna
off.
break. So we missed 3 weeks worth of news.
We have so many reviews. So I'll give you guys a brief rundown here. We got Creed 3. We got Scream 6. We got Shazam, Fury of the Gods, also 2. It's the second one. We have the Oscars. We have other stuff. We have Star Wars. We have Marvel. We have DC. We have it all.
So,
you guys,
Sam,
buckle in, strap down, and grab your Diet Coke and overpriced whatever you own that's overpriced. Grab it. And we're starting right now.
So Sam, I have a question for you. Do you want to start with the Oscars, or do you want to do the Oscars at the very end?
Let's get them over with. Let's talk about the Oscars fast. Max is... They can't hear you.
They cannot hear a single word you're saying.
All right, anyway. Starting things off, let's talk about the Oscars. Do you have a link for me to click?
Mm-hmm. I put one in there for you.
All right, I'm going to open it on this computer, though, because...
So I think we talked about the noms when they came out. But the Oscars...
We did talk about the noms.
So, real quick...
Also, the Anime Awards finished as well.
Okay, that's another
I want
thing
to talk about
anyone
those.
cares about,
More people care about that than the Oscars.
Oh, that is not true at all.
That's definitely true.
That is 100%
Tell that to the internet.
They've just said the Anime Awards are more popular.
No, I said
than
more
the
people
Oscars.
care. No one cares about either of them.
Hey,
The only difference is Oscars
okay.
get actors'
real
jobs.
quick, just to talk about the show itself. I did watch all of the Oscars from start to finish. It was a pretty good show. Honestly, it wasn't boring. They did all of the awards. It was pretty quick. Everyone gave nice speeches. Jimmy Kimmel was fine. He didn't get super political. Just kind of told 9 jokes and then went away. The only bad part was at one point, Melissa McCarthy and Halle Bailey walked up on stage and just did an ad for The Little Mermaid for 5
Everyone
minutes,
loves it when they do that.
and then went away.
But that
the
movie
Oscars
is good.
stopped
It's going to be good. Good
so
movie.
that they could do an ad for a Disney movie, and then they all walked away.
Sorry, what channel was the Oscars on again?
ABC.
Who owns those guys?
I believe the Walt Disney Corporation.
Oh, they wouldn't happen to be making a Little
Sam,
Mermaid
this was
movie.
definitely
would they?
the Academy going, let's celebrate what is going to be the greatest film ever made, The Little Mermaid.
They're just really hyped for it.
They released the trailer for it, and nobody cared.
Well, I'm not surprised.
You know why? Because it looks boring.
It looks like the guys. Okay, spoiler alert for the Little Mermaid. Now, a lot of people don't know this. It's actually a remake. You can actually watch the entire movie, like full start to finish animated. It's actually based on that movie. So if you guys want to like just watch it, you actually can. There's a pre-release version. It's
And that
like
version
animated.
I am not watching that.
And that version has actual colors in it, unlike the new version, which is gray and bland.
Gray is in.
Gray and dark.
Gray
as
is
the Little Mermaid is famously known for.
gray is the new
Being
orange.
gray and being darkly lit.
Yep.
What a fun time for the kids. Anyway, Sam, Everything Everywhere All at Once was the big winner.
Let's go.
It won like all of the
Okay,
awards.
let's
It
go
won
through the
Everything
awards.
Everywhere.
Let's not say everything.
I
before
was
we
waiting.
start.
I was stalling until you pulled it up.
I've had it pulled up for like 5 minutes. I was waiting for you to start talking
on you
about
because
them.
you play on the show over here.
Oh, it's not going to be up there.
That's what I thought you were doing.
Well, they can't read it when it's up there. Anyway, all right. Starting things off, we have writing. I just scrolled to the bottom because I'm assuming it's like backwards, right?
No, it's in random order.
Okay, well, I'm starting at the bottom of the list. We have writing original screenplay. The nominees were Banshees of Inisherin, The Fableman's Tar, Triangle of Sadness, with the winner being Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I was actually kind of shocked by this one. I thought they were going to give The Banshees of Inisherin this award just to give it something.
Yeah, so it didn't go home.
And it
empty-handed.
honestly, it probably has a better script than Everything Everywhere does. But
I feel like Everything Everywhere has it's a harder script to make.
yeah,
good.
it's much harder to write. I mean, just the fact that movie works at all is kind of a miracle. But I feel like because of that, they should have given Banshees the screenplay and then Everything Everywhere the directing, because I feel like that is what pulled that movie together in comparison to its actual screenplay. But it's fine. I didn't care. This was like the fourth time they had won an award at that point. So everyone was just like, okay, yep, Everything Everywhere wins everything.
All right, next award, we have writing for adapted screenplay.
Okay, so real quick, adapted screenplay, the rules for this are so dumb. There's 5 nominees. One is an adaptation of a book. One is an adaptation of a remake of an old Japanese movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's another one which is a remake of an old movie and a book at the same time. So it's credited as a remake as an adaptation of the book. And then there's 2 sequels on here. There's Top Gun Maverick, which is an adapted screenplay because it's a sequel to an other movie.
Yeah, I don't understand why sequels
And then there's
are part
Glass
of this.
Onion on here, which is also an adapted screenplay because there's one character from another movie that's also in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know why those are considered adaptions of something else. It's just a sequel.
No, it's especially since Glass Onion is the same guy as Knives Out.
Yeah.
Like, that was all original stuff. Same with Top Gun. Like, Top Gun Maverick is barely even remotely similar to the first Top Gun.
Yeah, because the difference is that Maverick had like a story.
It had like a storyline. And if you've ever seen the original...
Which is something that they improved on from the original, because the original one, they did do something bold with the original. Where they were doing something different, where they just tried to make a movie with no story.
Mm-hmm. And just see how many shirtless dudes they could have walk around for an hour and a half.
Yeah, which was, I mean, that was very brave and bold of them to try to make a movie with no story, but also, you know, it doesn't make for a very good movie.
Remember at the end where they all just like shoot down some Russian planes?
Yeah, some like random planes.
that just like appear out
They
of
just
nowhere.
spawn, like they just appear.
By the way, Top Gun, the original one, bad movie.
It's
It's
a
not good.
movie.
It's a bad movie.
I know y'all really liked it because they didn't know how to make movies good back then.
They didn't like it, but they like it now.
They have the
because it's
nostalgia
old.
glasses for it.
Yes.
That's
Visual
what I'm saying.
effects. Avatar 1, because
Because how on earth could anything else win? Let's be real, guys.
let's be honest. The Batman, not going to take it.
No, the Batman was very good, but it's not. Come on, there's only one reason you go to an Avatar movie,
No.
and it's not for the story.
Best sound was Top Gun, also tracks.
Yeah, that I don't really get. The sound was like, yeah, it was just loud.
It's sound design.
Yeah, but
editing and
loud
mixing.
does not equal good
But
sound.
the planes sound like planes. Remember when the engine went...
Yeah, but that's just loud. That's not like that's not like necessarily making it more accurate. It's just loud.
Loud wins. The key with the Oscars is for editing, whatever has the most cuts. For sound, whatever's the loudest. And visual effects, it's whatever had the most visual.
Yeah.
That's how this works.
All right, next up
Short
we
film,
have...
live action, no one's seen them, don't care. Irish Goodbye 1, good for them.
Oh, that's the one that we... Isn't that the one we talked about?
Is it?
What's the one that we pulled up on screen? It was like about Amish people or something?
I think it was. Or it was...
Max doesn't know. Yeah, okay, thanks, Max. Short film animated. The
Boy,
winner was...
The Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, which was the Apple one, which had about probably like a $5 million more dollars in the budget than everything else.
Yeah, I didn't even know Apple made a thing, but all right.
Production design, All Quiet won that. Everybody was kind of mad
War
about
movies
that.
always win that.
Because Babylon was the one that everyone wanted to win. But, oh my gosh, does the Academy love it when you dig a big trench and have a guy in an old World War II outfit.
That's the most accurate
World
set.
War One.
If you just dig a hole, it looks exactly
oh my
like
gosh,
a real
that
life
looks like a real trench.
This grass field looks exactly like it did in real life.
All right. Next we have
Best Picture. We'll
Best
skip that.
Picture.
We'll come back.
All right, we'll do that one last.
Music. Original song was Not To. Everyone kind of
expected that.
Yeah, they did. They performed it at the Oscars. It was pretty good. Original score was All Quiet. This was the one everyone was mad about because everyone was like, okay, there's two people in the running. There's John Williams, because it could be his last movie, and it probably will be his last one with Steven Spielberg. So do we finally give him an Oscar for that? Or do we give it to Babylon, which has a really good score? And they went, how about we go
How about we give it to
neither,
someone else?
and we give it to All Quiet, because when the big battle happened, they went, brrr.
They played this sad song when the battle happened.
No, they went, brrr.
They played a really loud foghorn when
They
the battle
went,
happened.
That's good score right there.
And Max, Not To is from RRR. That's the name of the movie.
He's not,
Mhm.
yeah.
All
Makeup
right.
and hairstyling.
So
AKA
the
the
Best
Academy
Fat
Award
Suit
for
Award-
Best Fat Suit, which it is. So there was two big fat suits in contention this year, though.
Could have gone
It
either
was
way.
either the Batman. Oh, actually, three big fat suits.
Dang, they're really
the
amping it
Whale,
up.
the Batman, and Elvis. Because
Yeah, I forgot.
Timothy Hanks wore a big fat suit. Brendan Fraser wore a big fat suit, and Colin Farrell wore a big fat suit.
Max asked, "Who is Timothy Hanks?"
So the real question here was who had the biggest fat suit, and that was of course Brendan Fraser in the Whale.
I would
So
argue
the Whale won the best.
I would argue the Batman should have won.
Oh, the Batman should have won 100%. Because if you put a picture of Colin Farrell,
You
in the
literally
Penguin
can't
outfit,
recognize him.
You have no idea who that is.
He really like got lost in that performance. Like
Well, the makeup alone.
yeah,
like,
no, he
you
was
cannot
the
tell
Penguin.
that's him.
He became the Penguin.
Yeah. The Whale, it was a good fat suit, but it was obviously Brendan Fraser in a big fat suit.
Yeah, it was just Brendan Fraser in
same
a
with
rubber
Elvis.
suit.
That Elvis fat suit was like
It's okay.
they spray tanned him and just stuffed his shirt.
Yeah, it's
up.
fine. Max. Okay, Max is talking. You don't need. What he's
I
saying
don't
is
know
not
why
important.
Black Panther was nominated. Honestly, I guess because they all have some of them
For
have face
makeup.
paint on.
Yeah, I think it's because of the.
I
Maybe,
get costume design for that one, but makeup and hairstyle.
maybe did they do?
Oh, they do have really elaborate hairdos. Some of them.
Is it because like the like the water people were painted blue? Did they like actually do blue makeup for them?
I'm pretty sure they were just CGI'd though.
Because they were blue.
I'm pretty sure they just CGI'd them blue.
Yeah, but if they did do it makeup, that would explain why it's
I
here.
guess, but also you just like took a paper. Like,
yeah,
that's not really good. It should have been the Batman. The Whale one.
it should have been the Batman.
The Whale one because it's not a comic book movie.
And they hate those. They
And
don't like those.
Oh my gosh, they hate him so much.
All right, next up.
And I'm not normally that guy, but like the Batman was really, really good, and it should have won most of these technical categories. Let's be honest.
Except effects, because that was Avatar.
Yeah, but the effects in Batman were good.
They were good, but like
Avatar was an animated
whenever
movie,
an Avatar
so it
movie
won.
comes out, it pushes
just gonna win.
It pushes the boundaries of what
Yeah.
VFX is going to look like for the next decade, and so you can't not win that. Like they
Yeah.
are the standard. They are what every other
Yeah.
movie seeks to
They're
be.
the best PS3 cutscene around. Everybody,
Yeah, that's like I'm trying to think of like an equivalent of that for like another industry.
like a Naughty Dog game,
Or
or like or a Mario with 3D Mario
yeah, that's okay.
for platformers.
If you were to compare it to the platform genre, yes,
It's 3D
Avatar's like the Mario, and then for
Yeah.
the next like decade,
Avatar 2009,
every other game is trying to be that.
Avatar 2009 was the Super Mario 64 of movies,
Yeah.
where it came out and everyone in the industry just went, "What are we doing here?"
Wow, we suck now.
International feature film was All Quiet because that was nominated for Best Picture and the other ones weren't.
All right.
Film editing was Everything Everywhere,
Does that make sense?
which I didn't think would win. I thought they were going to give it to Elvis just because I thought they would really love Elvis, and Elvis has a lot of spin transitions. And I thought they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, that's the greatest transition."
No, but I mean, it's so obviously
Yeah.
everything. Like the editing in that movie is actually really, really good.
Documentary short was The Elephant Whisperers. Again, no
Duh,
one's
all right,
sorry,
sure,
I'm
why
sorry,
not?
but no one's seen them. Documentary feature. Okay, I've seen one of these. I saw Fire
I've
of
seen
Love.
0 of these.
Fire of Love is great.
What's it about?
It probably should have won, but Navalny is about that guy in Russia.
Wow, that's
like
very
fighting against
specific.
them. So obviously, it's 2023.
Fighting against who?
the Russian government, like Putin.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
The movie Navalny.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Exactly.
he's like he was like a spy against Putin.
So was he like Batman, but he's in Russia?
Yeah, he's currently imprisoned by Vladimir Putin
Oh,
for
so
saying
he's
bad things.
So
about
he's
him.
dead.
No, probably. But the point is that the movie is
Yes,
about
he's real,
how,
Max. It's a documentary.
the movie is about how Putin's bad, and obviously that's going
Did
to
you
win
just
the
ask
Oscar.
what's a documentary?
And then okay, so do you get why that one?
Oh yeah, okay.
Russia bad. There's a war in Ukraine. Right
Yeah,
now.
it's very
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay,
Direct-
directing.
Shut up, Max. I've seen
Max,
you
they
eat.
cannot hear you.
I've seen you eat 20 McNuggets on this podcast.
Max is complaining that Tucker ordered too much food.
Yeah, you have. Directing.
You did it one time.
The Daniels one for Everything Everywhere. That was
They don't serve a 16 count. Okay, that's not important. They're arguing over how many nuggets Max has eaten at the most. No one cares. Okay.
no one can hear you.
Everything Everywhere All at Once won the Best Directing Award.
Which was pretty much which came right after screenwriting, so everyone was like, okay, it's probably gonna be this one, and they did, and that was kind of certified their win as Best Picture. But pretty much the only one who also had a chance was Steven Spielberg, because he made a movie about
Steven
himself.
Spielberg, Martin McDough, Todd Field, and
No. Martin McDonough.
Banshees of Inisherin, which you haven't seen. I'm talking to Max, by the way.
Yeah.
The Fablemans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. Name the director of that movie, Max.
He couldn't even pronounce
He just said
it.
that Triangle of Sadness should have won.
He couldn't even say his name.
How
if
do
it
you
was sitting
how
in
do you
front of
say the first letter of their last
him.
name?
Yeah, Max.
It's
Yeah.
not Urkel McGurkle. All right, moving on.
Costume design.
Costume design.
Now,
went
everyone
to-
also thought that Babylon would win this.
it went to
Turns
Black
out
Panther, Wakanda
Ruth
Forever.
Carter won for Black Panther, which she won for the first Black Panther, I believe, too.
Which, I mean, the costumes for that movie were fine, so sure.
I mean,
okay.
they were very elaborate.
They were very elaborate.
Those, I mean, hey, those
Actually, the funeral. I bet it was because of the funeral scene.
I mean, that was really good, but also like the whatever they were, the Atlanteans.
The Atlanteans were all
They
right.
had, but they had like really elaborate outfits and stuff too. So
Well, no, like their outfits, Max.
okay, moving on. Cinematography. Okay, this one the nominees were just dumb. So All Quiet One, which everyone was just like, I guess it's this.
Sure, okay.
Because Top Gun and the Batman were not nominated. It should have been Top Gun because they filmed.
They
those
put
real
planes on
planes.
actual cameras on actual fighter
and
jets,
you could follow what was happening.
which was cool.
And then Batman had probably the actual, like, in terms of artistic sensibilities, like the best.
It was the most
visual-
technically correct
Yes.
cinematography.
Neither one got nominated. So instead, All Quiet won because they filmed those.
Because they
big battle
really
scenes
liked
really
that
good.
trench. That trench was just so cool.
Sam, did you see the part where where the camera like went on like a tracking shot through the
I've not
trench?
seen All Quiet on the Rest.
Oh, you didn't? I haven't either, but I know that's in the movie because that's in every World War I movie.
Yeah, they always do that. Wait, my favorite part was the scene where it's just like a full body shot of him running straight towards the camera and explosions behind him.
Yep.
That was my favorite part. I haven't seen the movie, but it's a World War II movie, so I'm assuming that happened.
Animated feature film.
Wait, is it World War II or World War One?
World War I, I think.
It's a World War One movie. That's basically
They're the same.
It's basically the same
They're
war,
the same war.
just sort of spread over a
No,
little bit
the
longer.
Germans were just wearing different outfits.
Yeah, that's true. Max is saying it's different because they weren't Nazis yet.
But them
which
losing is what
accurate.
caused them to become.
Yeah, they became Nazis because they lost. That's not important. I'm going to
Animated
talk about World War
feature
II right
film.
now.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio one, which everyone just kind of knew. Max. Okay, Max is still talking.
Max.
Um,
Max keeps talking and he has no mic.
You decided not to give.
You said you
Max,
weren't gonna be here.
I asked you, do you want a mic? And you said, I'm gonna be there for like 2 minutes to eat my food. And I was like, okay, then it's not worth setting up a mic if you're gonna be here for 5 minutes. Okay, well then go get your mic. Oh, that's not my problem. All right. Animated feature film, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio won. The other nominees were Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which I should argue would not have been a animated film by the definition of animated film.
But that one character was animated.
Yes, but why then is the Avatar not in that category?
Because Avatar's a real movie.
Yeah, and so's The Lion King. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, not Witch. That's not a movie. Should have won. Actually, no. Pinocchio's probably better, but that's.
I mean, it is, but Puss in Boots was
really good, and I wanted to win.
I like that one.
The Sea Beast, which I've heard is really good, but I've never seen, and Turning Red, which was the most mediocre Pixar movie I think I've ever seen.
Okay, here's the one that made everyone upset. A supporting actress.
Apparently.
Jamie Lee Curtis won for Everything Everywhere. Angela Bassett was the easy favorite, and if you watched the show, she was visually very unhappy.
Yeah, I don't know.
And honestly, everyone else in this category kind of deserved to win more than Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, she was okay, but she was only in the movie for like 5 minutes,
and she was just kind of doing goofy. She didn't have any serious moments. She mostly was just.
She was basically Roz from Monsters Inc. Like, do you have your paperwork? You need to bring form.
I feel
12.
like this was less because she was real good in that particular movie, and more just because.
She wore the hot dog hands.
She's been in Hollywood forever. It's her time.
It's her time.
We gotta give her the award.
It's her time. Max is yelling hot dog
because we couldn't
fingers.
nominate her for Halloween Ends, so we nominated her for this
bad.
one. Remember when she was in that? Good job. I mean, the movie Halloween Resurrection can now say there's an Academy Award-winning actor in it. So that's kind of
Do you
fun.
want us to plug it in? Yes or no? Okay.
Hey, great.
All right.
We're back.
All right. Now we're synced up.
Actress in a leading role.
Max can talk now.
Michelle Yeoh won for Everything Everywhere, which everyone kind of hoped for would happen. The theory was that Cate Blanchett would just take it for being there and being around.
But she didn't.
Which is good for everyone.
It wasn't her time yet.
No, it has been like 3 times before.
It was her time already. Someone else's turn.
Actor in a supporting role. Everyone on Earth knew that Ke Huy Quan was going to win for Everything Everywhere.
Also, his speech was the best.
And he gave the best speech, and we all love him.
And he was like, "Mom, I won an Oscar," and it was very wholesome. And Harrison Ford was there.
They did a hug,
and it was awesome.
Okay,
because that was his first role.
My only fear is that like everyone was like, "Oh wow, you're back, Ke Huy Quan. That's amazing," and now they're immediately going to go back to completely ignoring him.
Oh no, I don't think he's gonna like be in a lot of movies.
I don't either. I
think he's gonna be in like maybe 1 or 2 more.
He's gonna be in Loki season 2.
Oh, he is? That's cool.
Yeah, and then he's gonna be in.
Is he gonna be in Indiana Jones? Whatever number this is. That's lame. He should be.
I don't know why they never like even before now. I don't know why they never like nostalgia played.
I wonder if they're not gonna give him like a Disney Plus spinoff or something.
I don't want.
Okay, who would you rather carry on Indiana's legacy? A character that
they're already doing one, so if they are, you might as well.
I would rather it be the character that was like basically like his adopted son than like his like goddaughter that we've never met.
No, it's the Disney Plus spinoff is going to be like his like the guy who inspired him to be Indiana.
Well, that's a prequel. I'm not talking about that.
No, but they're already doing a Disney Plus show, and like that's what they're doing. Like,
yes, I know, but I'm saying if they make like a continuation.
You remember Last Crusade?
Yeah.
Remember how in the opening of that, there's like the whole fake out sequence where it's a guy who you think is Indiana Jones, and then it turns out Indy's actually the little kid.
Yeah.
They're going to do it about the guy who looks exactly like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, no, I know.
Indiana Jones does.
No, I know, but that's a prequel. I'm saying if they make a continuation.
I'm saying if they're going to do a Disney Plus show, just throw that out, because we all know they're just going to try to do Indiana Jones with a guy with a different name who acts the exact same. So instead,
it'll be Jindiana Jones.
Yeah, let's just do short round stuff. Why not? You're the one over there screaming about how you've never done anything right in your entire life.
I need to know
Yeah.
that I've done one thing right with my life.
Actually, that's kind of convenient because now we get to actor.
Speaking
in a
of
leading
which,
role.
we are getting into winner of actor in a leading role,
Which was
Brendan
Brendan
Fraser
Fraser
for The Whale. Max, you wanna hit us with that again?
Go with the sound. We need
All
to
right,
clip
he
that
doesn't
as
want
a
it.
soundbite.
All right, with the other nominees being Austin Butler for Elvis,
So,
Colin
yeah,
Farrell for
everyone
Banshees
was
of Inisherin, Paul
everyone
Mescal
was scared
for
that it was
Aftersun,
going to be Austin Butler for Elvis.
and
which
Tucker didn't let me
honestly-
finish reading the rest.
Well, who cares about Bill Nye? But
Everyone loves Bill Nye. He's the
I mean,
science
we
guy.
like him.
He goes, Bill Nye, the science guy.
It's
Bill Nye.
It's definitely
science
Bill
guy.
Nye. That's who that person is.
Yeah, it says it right there, Bill Nye.
But like 6 months ago, it was gonna be Colin Farrell, and then Austin Butler won at the Golden Globes, because he did a really good Elvis impersonation, and then everyone after that was like, "Oh, it's Brendan Fraser's time. We gotta give
It's
him
his
an award."
time.
An arbitrary thing we do to reward ourselves for shunning these people for 20 years before allowing them
We
to
are
return.
sorry for bullying you out of Hollywood. Have a plastic trophy.
For a movie you got paid $900 to do.
Wait, are they made of? What are they made of? Are they made of plastic?
Oh, they're made of gold.
Are they actually made of gold?
Yes.
Like solid gold? Or are
Sam,
they
no
gold-plated?
millionaire would
Are they
get an
gold
award.
plated or are they solid gold?
No, they're like solid gold.
Those got to be heavy. There's no way that that's solid gold.
What are the Oscars?
There ain't no way those are solid
that?
If
gold.
I got one,
To who, man?
Max, shut up.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's bronze plated.
Oh, so it's not even
No,
gold.
solid bronze, then plated in 24 karat gold.
That's very convoluted.
So it is so it's bronze. They're all third place.
So it's not that heavy. It's a little bit heavy, though. 24, Max. He just said. 24 carats could fit inside the
was
statue.
the joke here about the dude that it's made of like vegetable carrots?
It is.
All right. Best picture. It was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Woo!
Which at that point everyone was just like, yeah, it's gonna be this.
They picked the one that is the right answer.
There were many people upset it was not Top Gun Maverick
Yeah, well, it wasn't Top Gun
because
Maverick.
that was the only movie they saw,
I looked at one.
and that's the one that had like, we love the military, go the military, America,
military's the
we love
best.
America, and rock, flag, and eagle, right? They were freaking.
Blow up those vaguely foreign planes.
It's so funny because then Everything Everywhere All at Once came out. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and no one could say it was bad because they all knew it was a really good movie.
Because it was the best movie
and they
that
were
came
all
out.
like, "Yeah, but it's so freaking weird," and also it had minorities, and that's why it won.
No, I think it's just the goodest movie,
I think it's
actually.
just a better movie with an actual like
I think
with
maybe
themes and a
so-
storyline and
So
characters.
Top Gun Maverick, I know they're a little new to the whole storytelling. they're still getting everything figured out. They'll win next time though.
Top Gun 3.
My favorite part of that movie is that like he spends the whole movie teaching these students how to like fly this route,
And then does
and
it
then
all
at the end
himself.
of the movie, it turns out they all suck, and he's still the coolest, and so he does it instead.
That's because they knew that all those people would be upset if like the cool youngins were better than him. The 65-year-old Tom Cruise is still the best dang pilot the world's ever seen.
Now he'll never be as good as Captain Pilot.
Not even close.
Like, they are the pilots that do those missions.
That's what the movie's about, Max.
No.
That's who
Like,
they.
I get that they're-
Yeah, because
So-
those types of
They're like-
When you learn how to do something, when you start learning it, you don't know how to do it. Then you get taught how to
no,
do
they
it.
were like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they were like,
The
Like,
next
that's
the,
so
the thing was it was such a dangerous mission. Even the best pilots in the world were struggling
Do you
to do
think
it.
like
That was what gave it stakes.
what were they gonna do, Max? Just be like, okay, you have 30 minutes to do this mission with 0 prep time. Those
Max,
were
those
the most
were
experienced.
those were the best
They still
pilots
had
they
to
had.
prepare for the mission.
they were all like,
Yeah,
Max,
because everyone in the
Max,
military is really young.
most pilots are not pilots for very long because you have to have very fast like reaction time, and your reaction time like starts to
And
fall
'cause
off
people
after the
only serve in the military for like 4 years.
Shush, after the age of like 22, it falls off, so they get new pilots. That's why it was like that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Max. What's
The good news
is that it? We
that
done
Elvis
with the?
didn't win anything.
Yeah, Elvis was like mid. All right. Anyway, Max. Shh.
All right, moving on. Sam, let's get into some Star Wars.
Let's get into some Star Wars news.
Sam,
Let's
now-
go balls deep.
all right,
into Star
I'm about
Wars
to
news.
give you a lot of information, okay? So
All
as
right,
we
you
all
guys
know-
ready for the Tucker info dumps
So,
show?
We all know that The Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019.
Yes.
And since then,
No other Star Wars
the
movies.
Star Wars movie production office is in a constant state of being on fire every single time they try to bring someone in there.
Once they realized they actually didn't know how to make movies, they started to freak out.
It came out a couple weeks ago that the garbage fire that is the Star Wars movie pipeline has caused Kevin Feige's movie he was producing that was going to be written by Michael Waldron to be shelved. So that's no longer happening.
Oh, good. You want to shelve Kevin
And Patty
Feige's
Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie, which has been in limbo for like which was supposed to come out.
last year.
No, it was supposed to come out this year.
I thought it was December 2022.
No, because they were.
That was the original release.
They were going to
date.
do Avatar, Star Wars, Avatar, Star Wars.
But Avatar also wasn't supposed to come out in 2020. It was supposed to come out in like 2020.
It
was supposed to come out in like 2016.
So their plan was Avatar last year, Star Wars this year, Avatar next year, Star Wars the year after that.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking the original plan was The Force Awakens,
Yep.
Avatar 2,
Nope.
Solo, or it was a spin. Yeah, it was Star Wars Avatar.
Well, because they didn't buy Avatar until They didn't buy Fox until 2019, and at that point, Avatar was scheduled to come out in 2021, and so that got pushed back a year. And 2019 is when they like reflipped their Star Wars can. And remember when their Star Wars plan was episode anthology?
Yeah.
Like way before before Solo flopped.
Yeah.
Like that was the plan. And then they got the rights to Avatar, and then they switched it.
Then they switched it and turned all those movies into Disney Plus
Avatar,
shows.
Avatar, Star Wars, and now Star Wars just cannot, for the life of them, like throw anything in the air. Like, how have they not put anything together at all? How have they not just made a movie about like a space pirate who has to steal a diamond? You're right. That's all.
I think they're just genuinely afraid.
No, I think they have no idea what to do and are scared that if they do anything that's like remotely different from like Star Wars Episode 4, that everyone will flip out and hate it.
Well, they should have. Okay, for starters, they should have not made episodes 8 and 9 bad. If they made them good, they'd probably still be making movies.
Mm-hmm.
If Solo wasn't just really boring, they would still be making spin-offs. Instead, Mandalorian took off. They went, oh, all right, well, let's pivot. We're going to make some shows. So they made Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was like, woo, good show.
We're on board with this.
They made season 2. Everyone was like, woo, yeah, that's what I like to see. Then they made Boba Fett.
And
everyone was like, all right, I mean, you know, that's okay, I guess. And then they made Obi-Wan, and everyone was like, that fight,
right.
that Darth Vader fight was kind of cool. And now they're making Mando season 3, and everyone's like, oh, is this still Star Wars? We're still watching Star Wars? Okay, that's...
Yeah, Mando season 3 massively underperforming.
All my friends who like Star Wars really like it, but no one else is talking about
There's
it.
a massive drop-off of the people who weren't Star Wars fans who were watching it, who are now no longer watching.
Yeah, because number one, they should not have put 2 of the most important plot details of Mandalorian
In the Book of Boba
in a
Fett.
different show.
No, it was so dumb.
That was a...
If they had done...
Whoever decided to do that
If
should
they had
not
done the
have done
Baby
that.
Yoda Returns thing in like episode 2, that would have immediately been hype and people would have been like waking up to the show.
They should have just not done
But
that.
also, they barely marketed it. Like there was no marketing.
Yeah,
for season
it
3.
kind of just came out.
Yeah, and it came out in like the beginning of March, right before 65 other things happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff coming out
and it
right
just
now.
kind of got. I mean, The Last of Us was airing at the same time.
And that's like...
That was
everyone was talking about
That was another
that.
high profile like IP show with Pedro Pascal in it.
And that's
airing
another
weekly.
show where like everyone was talking
Like you
about
couldn't
it.
even wait for that.
And yeah, I've heard more people talk about Ted Lasso than
Like
Mandalorian.
they dropped it in like the convergence of major television programs, and like every week in March was like a major movie release.
Now, okay, they
And
didn't...
March Madness is going on right now. So there's like TV world, movie world, and sports world are all converged right now. And Mando is just having to like stick himself in there with zero help.
They probably didn't expect Last of Us to pop off as much as it did. I don't think anyone did.
No.
They knew Ted Lasso was big, but I think they
But
underestimated
they
it.
set the Mandalorian premiere date before Ted Lasso.
Yeah, they said number one. They said it before, but I also think they underestimated Ted Lasso a little bit. I don't think they really understood how big that show really is. And I think the general feeling towards Star Wars right now is at an all-time low.
I don't know if all-time low. I think all-time low is so low.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
I think all-time low was between like 2007 to 2012. I think that was the all-time
No, but
low.
even you got like Clone Wars.
And then the later seasons of Clone Wars came out, and people started to get hyped for it because they really got attached to those characters. And then Rebels was coming out around the same time. Then we had Episode 7, which really revitalized it, really brought the community back.
People forget how just ginormous Episode 7
Yeah,
was.
like that was like that brought Star Wars back from the dead. Like, in all honesty, like as much as hate or whatever that movie,
Yeah.
that is responsible in a large part for bringing back the Star Wars community.
I think I said this in the last episode we did, or like a couple episodes ago. But my theory for the reason, like, you can trace the death of movies, like, to Episode 7. Like, the way that movie performed and like what it did
Changed how movies are
changed
made.
how studios thought about how they should make like big budget movies, and that kind of like spiraled into like the creative dump we're in now.
But okay,
I think
so Star Wars. So then Star Wars reached. I would say it's within the last like few decades. That was its all-time peak.
Which is
Si-
weird.
Since Star Wars came out in the 70s, I would
Yeah.
say when Episode 7 came out, that was the peak.
We're
of hype.
probably at the quality peak right now. Like, all the Star Wars stuff coming out for the most part is good. Andor, Bad Batch, Mando. Like, all that stuff coming out is pretty gosh dang good. But at this point, they diluted it with, like, the mediocre stuff so bad
I think
that
that-
no one cares.
Have you watched
Season
the later
2
episodes?
is an improvement. I'm not even completely...
Watch the more recent episodes.
I'm not even
It started off in a really bad spot.
I'm
I
not
agree.
even completely caught up, but it is a better season than the last one.
So okay,
Like, even
let
though...
me finish what I was saying though.
Yeah.
So then so then Rogue One came out after that, and Rogue One was really good. That really hammered in, all right, Star Wars is back, and they are back swinging. Then Episode 8 came out. And when Episode 8 first came out, it was very
What's
split.
interesting about Rogue One...
I'm not done yet.
is that that's the one that people who hadn't seen Star Wars have seen. If you ask people who haven't seen Star Wars, they will always tell you, I haven't seen any of them, but I have seen Rogue One. For some reason, every person I talk to, that's the only Star Wars movie they've ever seen.
I think that's because 7 brought Star Wars back, and Rogue One came out during the peak of new Star Wars.
And wasn't connected to...
And
And
wasn't
didn't have a
connected to
number in it,
so
so people were
you
like,
didn't have
I
to-
can see
yeah.
this one.
You could just go see it.
Yeah.
But then Episode 8 came out, and
Max, please stop talking.
that was...
The mic's not even
you're
near
not,
your
If you're going to
face.
talk into the mic, seriously, or unplug it, because when you bang it around, it makes
It's
noise.
just gonna...
So, Episode 8 was caused a big rift in the fan base. Half of everyone really thought it was really good. The other half really, really hated it.
Mm.
And I think as time has gone on, the general consensus has sort of simmered down somewhere towards that movie was pretty bad.
Honestly, like Force Awakens, the birth of like dumb studio IP driven soft reboot thinking.
Because, okay,
I think
7...
The Last Jedi was the birth of like neck beard glasses wearing action figure background Zoom call internet whining. That's when that was born.
I think that had been around before, but I
It
think...
had,
I
but
don't
not
think
in
it
the
had...
capacity it is
Not to
now.
that scale.
Yeah,
That-
that is what birthed it.
It's not what birthed it, but it's grew a lot during
It
that time.
kind of existed, but that's when everyone was.
It was more niche.
It was more.
It
niche.
happened a lot, but it was with stuff people weren't.
It was like-
it wasn't as high profile.
It was the 2016 Ghostbusters movie. And
Yeah.
then The Last Jedi is when everyone was yelling at each other for like
because it was a very high profile
Yeah.
movie, and the
was
takes
super divisive.
were hot.
I mean, that movie itself, just in comparison to the other Star Wars movies, is very, very different than the feel of anything else, tonally and script wise.
And to this day, I don't think that Episode 8 is nearly as bad as it is credited for. I think it had a lot of issues. But I think it was the way that they chose to handle the direction of those films going forward that really solidified it as the worst installment in that franchise.
Episode 9 is much worse.
Episode 9 is worse ideologically, but I don't know that it's necessarily
No, I
worse
think
in terms
Episode
of...
9 is a worse movie. Episode 9 is a giant... Episode 8 has, like...
Episode 8 was a bad filler episode.
Episode 8 was well structured.
No, it wasn't.
But there was just a lot of really dumb things that shouldn't have
It wasn't
been
well structured. Half of the movie takes place on Canto Bight.
Exactly. Like,
That's not well structured. Is your mic plugged back in?
no.
Okay. Episode 8 was the one where they were running out of gas. And so they have to go to Canto Bight to get that guy to crack the code so they can run away. Nope. That's
Babu
episode
Freak.
9, and he's not that bad. Babu Freak
Okay,
doesn't
we
show
gotta
up
stop.
until
He
later.
has no idea what planet he's on. But like episode 8 is like the movie itself functions better.
No, it took place immediately after episode 7, which
Okay.
was a bad idea.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying like as a movie that functions better as a narrative than episode 9 does, because episode 9 is just like a giant mess of like MacGuffins and like side fetch quests.
There was way too much going on.
Which episode the Last Jedi has like a good amount of stuff going on, but the problem is that it doesn't all work. And then episode 9 is that they did everything at once. Just one thing after another, go,
Yeah,
go,
because-
go. And they didn't think about any of it.
Because
just
they
put
had
stuff on paper
they
and
had
moved on.
so much to backpedal on
Yeah.
because
And
of the
to-
way episode 8
and to develop, because episode 8 didn't move anything. forward.
episode 8 doesn't move the story forward at all.
No.
It does not advance the plot in any way, and it cuts off all of the things that could have potentially gone somewhere. They
Episode-
kill Snoke right away. They kill Snoke, gone. We don't know who that guy is. He's dead now.
They were handicapped when they made episode 9, because episode 8 gave you literally 0 hooks to build off of for the next
And
movie.
yeah, the movie ends with the Resistance being, for the most part, destroyed and Luke dying.
Yeah.
So once again, your other two most potentially interesting plot hooks
You just
crushed,
crushed.
gone again.
That'd be like if in Lord of the Rings, in the Two Towers, Frodo falls off a mountain and gets stabbed, and then everyone just sits at a cafe and drinks tea.
That would be like, how many Lord of the Rings movies are there?
3.
Okay, that'd be like it. What's the second one?
The Two Towers.
That'd be like if in the Two Towers, Sauron just like gets cut in half by like an NPC character, and then
And then Gollum is like, I'm the villain now.
yeah, and then the next movie, Golem like wears a cracked helmet. And like now he's in charge. That would have been really
he just
stupid.
walked in and said he's the
But
Lord.
then it's who's the bad guy before Sauron was the evil guy?
So, it was always Sauron.
There was no one else.
Actually, no. Okay, there was this other. It's so weird.
Just give me the name. That's
Of
all. I know.
Sauron?
The
It's
guy
a-
who was evil before Sauron.
I don't remember, but it's not in Lord of the Rings. It's in like the other.
I'll call him
Expand.
Evil Wizard. And then
Oh, you're talking about Saruman.
who was the evil guy before the main bad guy?
The big bad guy is the big eye, right?
Uh-huh.
That's Sauron.
He's the main bad
And
guy.
then his main like minion is Saruman, who's like the evil wizard.
No. Who's before him?
The
Who's
evil wizard?
before that guy?
Or the big eye.
Both. Who was before him?
The big eye is the main big bad.
But who was bad before him?
Like there's like an evil dark force from like a million years ago.
That would be like if Sauron gets killed by an NPC.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just slips on a banana peel and impales himself. And
big
then
eyeball.
and like the darkness comes back.
Yeah.
And now they have to fight him, and also Gollum is there. That's basically what actually happened in Star Wars.
We got sidetracked again, by the way.
So to finish what I started talking about.
So the next Star Wars movie.
Star Wars hype plummeted when Solo came out because 8 fractured the fan base. That showed to everyone there are cracks in the foundation. Let me finish, please, so we can move on from this plot that I'm trying to explain. Okay, that showed that there were cracks in the foundation. Solo came out to absolutely underwhelm the entire fan base. It wasn't even that bad. It was just completely
And
unnecessary.
they shot the movie twice,
very
so it
boring,
cost like $500 million.
and it was way over budget.
yeah, because they made it twice.
So that really brought the fan base even lower. And then 9 was just like a wet fart. It just kind of like flopped out onto the table and then evaporated.
I mean, you know you're in a good spot when your wet fart still makes $1 billion.
So with the end of with the Star Wars franchise concluding with a wet fart,
Yep.
that's great, Max. Thank you. Keep telling us your opinions. When it all ended, all that was left for Star Wars to explore, because they were at that point they were afraid to do spin-off movies and they were afraid to continue the story because of how badly they had screwed it up. So they didn't want to risk more screwed up, and they did. I don't think they know if they want to double down on it yet. I don't know if they want to commit to the story that they've told.
They have to.
They have to, but they don't.
You made those movies.
Oh, they made those movies.
You spent probably $2 billion collective dollars producing, marketing, developing.
But how much time and energy went into all the material that came before?
What, you mean like the prequels?
No, the original expanded universe.
Not
nearly as much, but I'm talking about human cost. How much
less
energy did those humans put into all
films, that? Each one of the sequels employed hundreds of people. Actually, probably occupied like thousands and thousands if you count in like the marketing and the merchandising.
The reason I brought that up is I'm saying they're willing to just burn what they've done before. They were willing
to burn those because those were like books and comics. Like the entertainment industry gives like less than one turd about any comic creator in history. They always have. And then writers, that's one guy who sits in his house for 3 months and then he sends you his book in the mail and then it's done and you pay him.
Yeah.
But like movie, that's years of developing concept art, production, hiring actors, hiring directors, writing, rewrites, shooting the movie, test screenings, reshooting the movie again, visual effects, post-production, marketing, release, then home video. It's all of that.
It wouldn't be unprecedented for them to abandon that and go in another direction.
It would be the largest single, probably.
I'm not saying retcon
event in film history.
I'm not saying retcon what they've done. I'm saying not approach those characters again.
Oh,
go in another direction. Make a different direction your main direction. That's what I'm saying.
They wouldn't now. If they did it, they wouldn't touch them in like the next 10 years. No, but
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they've committed to either going in another direction or committing to the direction that they started in.
They've committed to not doing anything with them.
That's what they're doing now.
But in 20 years, they'll 100% bring them back for another one. Because people will remember those movies and you cash in on the nostalgia.
Yeah, in 10 or so years, people will look back and be like, you know what? The sequels...
I don't know if it'll be as big as
weren't that bad.
The prequels, but I feel like it will be people who are like, oh, I liked those actors.
It'll be the same.
It would be cool if Poe Dameron came back.
No. Why are the prequels popular today?
Because they're weird movies.
Try again.
Because they're old.
You're kind of on the right track. They're popular because the people who like them now saw them as little kids and thought they were cool. Mm-hmm. And so now they just have nostalgia for them and they like them. They want to see more of that stuff. That will happen with the sequels. Because, whether you like it or not, hundreds of millions of people poured into the theater day one to see those movies. And a lot of those people were little kids.
Yeah.
And those little kids don't care if Finn kissing Rose was dumb.
Yeah.
They don't care that Palpatine returned out of nowhere. They don't care that
Snoke
was cut in half for no reason.
They played the canon Fortnite event.
They don't care that Rey is a Skywalker.
Oh my gosh,
I feel
what they remember is, whoa, remember when Rey and Kylo fought off those red dudes? That was awesome. What they are going to remember is, remember when those speeders were zooming around on the red planet? That was awesome. What they're going to remember is Luke standing down the Empire, standing there going, you can't kill me, and them shooting him with a bunch of lasers, and they remember that as, wow, that was really cool. They're not going to remember, oh, Luke died, that was lame. They don't care. They're 5. They think Star Wars is awesome.
I feel like we as a society don't acknowledge enough that a canon part of Star Wars lore happened in a Fortnite event.
That was probably the best Star Wars thing.
Okay, back. We gotta finish this one thing. So
anyway,
we can finally move on.
that's...
So the next Star Wars movie will be to be released as of now will likely be Taika Waititi's, which he's currently working on, has not been fired from yet, and apparently he will likely star in it along with writing and directing it.
Is that the Skeleton Crew one?
No, this is his own thing.
Do it have a name yet?
No. It's untitled Taika Waititi Star Wars.
Taika Waititi does a Star Wars.
He's co-writing it, he's directing it, and apparently he's going to be an actor in it.
Wait, isn't he already a character?
Yeah, he's IG-11.
Yeah, but isn't he also a stormtrooper?
No.
Yeah, he voices He voices the one that's arguing to that other one when they're shooting at that little thing.
No, he doesn't voice one of them. Jason Sudeikis voices.
I thought he voiced the other one though.
No,
I thought it was
think
Jason
it's just
Sudeikis
Jason
and him.
Sudeikis and like another guy.
I thought the other guy was Taika Waititi.
No, Taika Waititi's IG-11.
That doesn't count. It's
But
not nice.
apparently that's the one most likely to meet
What?
the December 2025 release date, which is the next one on the calendar for them. And then, so just please stop talking, Max.
Max, if you're gonna
I'm
say
just gonna mute
something,
him.
make it something that contributes to what we're talking about.
I'm just gonna just to give you updates on the other Star Wars movie projects. Ryan Johnson has
That's never
still
coming out.
not been fired from the studio, but he's just too darn busy working on those Benoit Blanc movies and Poker Face to make them. They still haven't officially fired him. They have fired everyone else, but they're like, well, we'll just wait and see if he ever makes
I think
those
he
things.
has been fired. I don't think he's been fired publicly.
No, I don't think he's been fired because I don't think he's been in the Lucasfilm offices in like 6 years.
I don't think that they're even in contact with him.
No.
I think the understood
I feel-
agreement is that that's not.
I
ever
feel like
happening.
they haven't technically fired him because he hasn't like done anything to them yet. Like, I feel like she fired the other people because they came in and were actually working on their stuff and she didn't like what they were doing.
And so she kicked him out.
And so she kicked him out. Ryan Johnson's done nothing. So they
You
don't
can never
care.
get fired if you don't have a job.
Yeah, if you're not working and they don't need you to be working, like, what are they going to fire you for? Eating McDonald's? Like, he's not even in the offices. He's not even, like, using the freaking water cooler.
Yeah, he's not
no
even there.
effect on them. The studio is also committed to the Star Wars movie directed by Sharmeen Obaiyed-Chinoy
What?
and written by Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson. However, I wrote those like on Monday, and then on Tuesday,
So
they
one
were
day
both
later-
fired from the project. Those two writers.
That's amazing.
But however, Sharmeen Obaiyed-Chinoy remains attached. As of 7 hours ago, by the time of recording, a new writer,
Stephen Knight,
who
the
was
Peaky Blinders
creator
writer.
of Peaky Blinders, has been attached to write the script. And more details about the film will be shared at the upcoming Star Wars celebration in April, with a title possibly being revealed. All right. Now, I know what you're thinking. They got a writer and a director. Probably going to have a title. They could even have a release date.
Is Dave
This
Filoni involved?
This is happening for real. And let me remind you, at Disney Investor Day in 2020, they revealed Rogue Squadron, which had a title, a release date, a logo, a director, and a writer. And it all was canceled.
Does it have Dave Filoni and or Jon Favreau involved?
No.
Then it will not come out.
It won't happen?
It will not happen if one of those two guys is not involved.
Like what?
Because I think those are the only two guys who are good enough friends with Kathleen Kennedy to get their stuff put out the door.
No, I don't even think they're friends with Kathleen Kennedy.
I think they just
I
tolerate
think
each
they
other.
do good enough business where the Disney higher-ups above her are like, you're not allowed to fire
You
them.
can't tell them no.
And Kathleen's like, but I want to.
Although, actually, I think that Jon Favreau did leave The Mandalorian.
No, he's still there. He
Is
wrote
it-
all the episodes, or at least he worked on all of them.
Maybe it's season 3. I heard there was some controversy going on with between him and The Mandalorian going forward.
There's always a bunch of weird rumors about the Mandalorian, and then everyone's just like, yeah, no, those are true.
Okay, well,
Like
I don't
in
know.
season
Yeah.
2, there was this whole rumor that like Pedro Pascal like walked off the set because they refused to let him take his helmet off, and then it turned out it's just not true
Yeah, that just seems to
because he's never on the set anyway.
That sounds made up anyways. All right,
Oh, they tried, and then they fired him.
he was making a movie.
He was going to produce
and-
one, and then no, he was. I feel like that one was actually because that movie. He just ignore him. You have to ignore him.
Shut up.
They announced that Kevin Feige produced one. Like, you remember like 4 years ago, like pre-COVID.
Yes, I remember when they said Kevin Feige was
No,
doing
do you
this
remember
stuff.
that when they like when Sony and Marvel had that big fight over Spider-Man?
Yeah.
They announced that like the day after that was announced to be happening.
Uh-huh.
And the general consensus was they're only announcing this to make Kevin Feige look more exclusive so that Sony will give them the rights to Spider-Man back.
That seems like it makes no sense.
And nothing ever happened really beyond that point. So I feel like it was never actually going to happen.
I think Kevin Feige's just too busy. I think he has too much stuff going on.
You know, he's got to run 78 different Marvel productions.
Yeah, he's kind of got a lot on his plate. All right, well, is there anything else for Star Wars?
The Daniels are going to direct an episode of Skeleton Crew.
All right, sweet. Moving on.
Let's go to Marvel.
We have Marvel stuff to talk about.
Sam, Nicolas Cage was asked if he wants to join the MCU. He said, and I quote, "I don't need to be in the MCU. I'm Nick Cage."
All right, thanks, Nick Cage. John
Bernthal will return as Punisher in Daredevil Born Again. You hyped about that?
That's cool.
However, Deborah Ann Wool and Eldon Henson, who play Karen Page and Foggy Nelson, are not currently on the call sheet and will be either recast or not included in the show at all. Sandrine Holt has been cast to replace Ayelet Zurer as Vanessa Fisk, and Michael Cuesta will direct the first episode of the series. He worked on Dexter. Now,
why did they recast
I don't know how they're gonna do Daredevil without Karen Page and Foggy Nelson.
Yeah, kind of. Karen Page.
Karen Page is a character in the comic. Deborah Ann Wool. You never watched Daredevil. Why are you even talking?
Have you seen Daredevil? Hey, you know the blonde girl that they're helping with that case?
She's a redhead.
She's blonde.
Okay, that's not important. The point is that
no, you are just.
How are they going to make a show where Matt Murdock works at Nelson and Murdoch
if
Nelson is not in the show? Apparently, they're going to give him a new love interest.
Why?
I don't know.
Wait, isn't he doing he's banging a She-Hulk now?
Nope, that's out.
That
was a one-off thing.
That's not happening anymore?
No, that's not happening. No, they threw that one out.
Well, probably because they don't want to make any She-Hulk stuff.
That's true, but also I think their reasoning is that they don't want it to be really connected to the old show, so that people who haven't seen that can watch the new one. But also
that's real stupid.
That requires removing Daredevil's entire supporting cast.
That's
so what does he do?
Really dumb.
And it's 18 episodes. What's he gonna do for 18 episodes with his two main supporting characters not there?
He's gonna do backflips.
I guess, but I do feel like this is confirmation that unless you are one of the main defenders,
you don't count.
Or Kingpin, you're gone.
Yeah, you're out of here.
But even that's not true because I'm pretty sure if they ever do,
I don't think Jessica Jones is coming back.
Iron Fist again or Luke Cage again.
None of those characters are coming back. It's just Daredevil.
Apparently, Jessica Jones will be back, and it will be I can't remember her name.
Whatever her name is.
Yeah, but it will be the same actress playing Jessica Jones.
Are they going to keep the story this?
Apparently, part of this show will revolve around that she's missing.
All right.
So apparently the two main storylines of the show is that Jessica Jones is missing and Kingpin is running for mayor.
Did we ever figure out why,
and also
in Daredevil, the Ninja Clan he was fighting dug a giant hole in the middle of the city?
Probably a level of city.
It's okay. I was watching. I caught up on Daredevil because I just kind of wanted to see if it was good. Seasons 1 and 2 were really good. Season 3, there's a time skip, and then Defenders happens.
Yeah,
I didn't watch Defenders.
Happens after Defenders.
I was unaware of this.
Yeah.
So at the end of Season 2, it's revealed that the ninjas dug a gigantic pit in the middle of a building in New York City. And then after that, that's gone now.
That's because they resolved it in Defenders.
And the bad guys are like, this is their most evilest plan. They're going to take over the whole city, and Wilson Fisk and the Ninja Clan and the some kind of magic jar are all involved. And then it's all that goes nowhere.
Oh, that's because Daredevil was canceled. But all the stuff in the time skip happened in Defenders.
That's real dumb. Okay,
which
next
apparently
thing.
is not good. Anyway, what if Season 2, Sam? Remember that?
Vaguely.
We'll introduce a completely new character created specifically for the MCU called Kaori, voiced by Amber Midthunder, who was the girl from the movie Prey, if you remember.
Her last name's Midthunder.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool last name.
Native American.
Is that her real name?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
That will appear in the episode. Okay,
she's never going to want to take her husband's name because that name's freaking
This is
sick.
the actual title of the episode. What would happen if the Tesseract fell to Earth and landed in the sovereign Haudenosaunee Confederacy before the colonization of America? That's the title of the episode.
Yeah, that sounds like a light novel title.
Which
I got reincarnated as a Tesseract before the colonization of America.
So, Sam, what do you think of that title?
I think the Native Americans are gonna kill all the colonists
with the Tesseract.
Tesseract,
probably.
And then they're gonna have Captain,
and then go back to doing whatever they
Captain
were doing before.
That I can't read that. Captain Confederacy is going to be the name of
Captain
it.
Confederacy.
Well, okay, maybe
I
not.
don't think that's going to go
Maybe not
over
Captain
well.
Confederacy. Maybe Captain the first word instead, or whatever the Native American word for captain is. Do they have a word for? Is it? It's not chief because that's the main. That's like president. Do they have
don't know.
captains? Any Native American people that might be watching this? How does captain translate? All right, moving on.
Oh, not the camera.
Bob Iger publicly states that it is not necessary for certain MCU characters to keep returning for trilogies, and that it might be time to move to new characters. Oh, that's the end of that sentence. There's no period. You should put a period at the end of your sentences.
So, Sam, this is definitely him just going, we should not have made Ant-Man 3. Ant-Man 3 was a bad idea.
Yeah, it was a bad idea.
No, you know what? It wasn't. Ant-Man 3
actually, it
would have
wasn't.
been fine if they would have made Ant-Man 3.
But they didn't. They made like Avengers.
They made like a weird...
What is this? Avengers 5.3?
They really made, Kang 1. That was what the movie
Kang
was.
1.
It felt like a spot where
You know what it felt like? You know, like
Doctor Who
when
episode?
cartoons would have like
what do they
mid...
the doctor do?
Okay, you know when cartoons would do like special 2-part episodes that were completely unrelated to everything else?
Yeah.
And would air on like a Saturday when the show normally aired on like a Tuesday?
Uh-huh.
This is one of those.
It felt like those Ben 10 movies.
It's a very special episode
Yeah, it's like a very special episode.
where they crossed over with the show, and that show would have been like the Quantum Realm people.
Yeah.
And it's not really canon, which is why nothing changes.
It felt like an Ant-Man Rick and Morty crossover episode.
That's exactly what it was. And it led to nothing, and nothing changed.
Yeah, literally nothing
and
happened.
no one will acknowledge it happened.
If you didn't watch Ant-Man, you're caught up.
Yeah, you missed nothing.
It's literally treated as a joke at the beginning and end of the movie how similar things are for Ant-Man as a person at the beginning and end of the movie.
Mm-hmm. So, Sam, I think you'll find this next piece of news interesting. Marvel has issued a subpoena to compel Reddit
I heard
users
about this, yeah.
on the r/Marvel Studios spoilers subreddit to identify individuals responsible for leaking the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania script. So,
No, not only that, but they actually have an arrest warrant out for one of the people who's part of that Reddit.
Basically, a couple months ago,
It's illegal because it's their
copyrighted
property.
work.
It's copyrighted work. It's copyrighted property that
and
he's
it
not
was
allowed.
distributed.
He doesn't. Yeah.
But basically a couple months ago,
What? No, but it's
Like,
for
they
movies that
leaked the
aren't
whole
out yet.
script.
It's like the script
Oh,
leaked.
release-
Yeah.
basically months ago, on this subreddit, which is basically all just leaks from Marvel, but
Yeah, this is how all those script leaks keep coming out. I think Thor was leaked,
basically the
Ant-Man
whole
was
script
leaked.
leak. And the script that was leaked was the original version that had the ending that was before they reshot it like 3
The
weeks
good one,
ago.
the good ending.
Yeah, and that's the version that leaked. And I'm pretty sure Marvel was probably like really mad that people knew that there was an old ending and that it was better,
A better
than the new
ending.
And they were like, no, this will not happen. There's one ending and the movie is perfect. And
They're not allowed to know our movies could have been good.
And so they went back and now they're going after him.
Because honestly, Ant-Man, much like a movie we're going to talk about later, I think would have been a lot better if it wasn't for its ending.
Yeah,
I think there's an over happifyiness of Marvel movies lately, like superhero
of
movies.
really all comic book movies
because
where nothing bad ever happens to anyone.
in the first phase of the MCU, like there was some camp because it's a superhero movie, but it was still taken seriously enough that you felt like the stakes were real.
Yeah.
There has not been stakes in a Marvel movie since Endgame. There have been no stakes.
Anyone died?
Every single movie has felt
No Way Home.
Pillow World.
They killed Aunt May.
Okay, No Way Home is the only one. No Way Home and
Has
a little
anyone
bit Black
else
Panther.
died in anything else?
But a character doesn't even have to die for the stakes to feel real. There just has to be some sort of discernible change in the character.
Yeah, there's none in anything.
Which, outside of No Way Home and Black Panther, those are the only two where they felt like the stakes mattered at
No
all.
one has a character arc ever, and nothing ever changes.
Like
for
Shuri
anyone.
had a decent character arc, and
Peter Parker did.
Peter Parker had a great character
Which
arc.
is weird because what were the two best movies in the MCU Phase 4?
Well, like there was
What if Kang showed up and
Don't-
we had to do a big punch?
Don't. It was just so. Okay, number one, they forgot all the rules of their own movie.
Yep.
They forgot what their movie was
You
about.
know, remember in the first Ant-Man when he just presses the go big button and gets out immediately?
Like, okay, like shrinking and growing used to be like kind of dangerous. Like it was powerful that he could do it, but like there were certain risks involved. Like you have to have the helmet on, or you could go crazy. If you get big, you might rip yourself in half. You could like shoot. So he only did that in like worst case scenario. Like
Now he just does it all the time.
now he just does it for fun. And then also they forgot all the rules of the quantum realm.
They forgot all the rules. You know why? Because they never go back.
Now,
They
okay,
refuse to go back
Okay.
for any actual good reason.
I did think about this a little bit. Technically, they don't shrink to get to the quantum realm. They get portaled. So does that change the rules? Is that why they can't grow out of it? Because they got portaled there? So maybe the maximum
No,
size...
but they're still shrinking to get there.
No, I think that was because they portal out. Like, they just walk through a portal and they're out.
Yeah, I think that's just because they forgot what the quantum realm was. And
So
they just thought it
I
was
think
another
when they get
dimension.
sucked in, I think they're portaled in. I don't think they actually get shrunk.
But the quantum
That's
realm
why-
is just a really small
That's
place.
why when they get big, they can't get big enough to get out because their size that they are still locked to their real world
I
size.
think they couldn't get big to get out because
Then the movie also would
would
end.
end in 3 minutes.
But I'm saying if we allow the movie to play around a little bit,
yep.
I think
If
you
we give
could
it a
make
heck of a lot of leeway.
I think you could make the case that that's what's going on, but they never say that.
No.
I'm not gonna do that for you. You do it. This is not
Jeff,
my job.
Loveness.
My job is to complain
Hey,
about you
Jeff,
doing a bad
Maybe
job.
you should have watched the first 2 Ant-Man movies before you wrote the third one.
All right, next. What's next?
A
I wanna talk about
Halloween
this.
special featuring Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto is rumored to be currently filming.
That's not gonna come out. Next.
Well, we pretty much all know he's in Ironheart.
Okay.
And yeah, played by Sacha Baron Cohen.
Wait, Mephisto's in Ironheart? Huh?
Because that show's gonna be about like magic versus technology, and I guess he's magic.
Oh, so what Iron Man 3 was supposed to be.
Kinda. But now it's a.
Yeah, because you know
But
how...
apparently he's not gonna be like full demon.
Oh, they're replacing the Mandarin with that guy.
No, they replaced the Mandarin with the Mandarin.
Yeah, but not that... The real Mandarin. The wizard one.
No,
Who's a wizard.
This is what's his face? Mephisto.
Yes, they're making Mephisto into a regular wizard, is what I'm
No,
saying.
Mephisto's still gonna be an evil demon,
No, he's going to be a wizard.
but he's gonna have magic power.
Yes, but he's not going to have demon powers. He's going to have wizard powers.
No, but it'll be like fiery.
He'll have vaguely fire-themed wizard powers.
Yes, and
He
he'll
will not
not
be
be
a
like
demon.
Sacha Baron Cohen because they'll be too lazy to.
He will
make
look
him a
exactly
demon
like
yet.
Sacha Baron Cohen, but he'll
Yes.
have a fancy green
But,
robe on.
yeah, I 100% believe they're doing a Halloween special
Okay, sure, why not?
because they did that they did that Werewolf by Night one, and that one they didn't confirm until like a month before it came out, and they shot like 6 months before October.
Yeah.
So if they're doing this now, this could conceivably come out by this Halloween also. So this makes sense to me.
Yeah, okay.
Victoria Alonso has left Marvel Studios after being there since 2008. She was president of physical, post-production, VFX, and animation at the studio. According to Vulture senior reporter Chris Lee, she was responsible for the toxic work environments and post-production, with her giving certain projects to those studios which she was personally fond of and shutting out those she did not like. However, other VFX workers have disputed these reports, saying she was supportive on set. Despite this, she was fired by Alan Bergman without the input of Kevin Feige. Marvel went, hey, everyone's hating on our CGI. Someone's to blame.
Who can we fire?
Probably the head of the department. Get rid of her.
Fire her!
Yep, that's what happened here. She'll get picked up somewhere else. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Really? We'll just find a different person to
I don't
run the same
think it's
crappy
her
VFX houses.
fault.
No, this is how all the studios do movies now.
Like, that's just the result of... The reason why the CGI is not as good is because of oversaturation.
Because you're having one
not
VFX
because the
Yeah.
VFX lead is bad. I'm assuming, I don't know, I'm not caught up on all this. I'm assuming she's been the VFX lead for like the whole of the MCU.
2 years.
Okay, well, yeah,
The past 2 years.
Maybe a little bit of their fault, maybe a little bit, but not all the way.
But also,
maybe a
because
little
they
bit.
release 11 products a year now,
Also that.
and they're constantly overworking them with hours and hours and hours and hours of VFX shots to do.
Yeah.
Probably because they transitioned to make 6-hour TV shows along with 3-hour movies. And those 3-hour movies are now 95% animation.
And people expect those TV shows to be the same quality as their movies because of The Mandalorian.
Yep.
Which, by the way, real quick side note. Can I just say the effects of Mandalorian this season are freaking
the budget
amazing.
has to be higher, right?
It is nuts. Bro, the like dragon bird thing from the last episode, like that thing looked so cool. That actually looked sick.
Also, you can tell they're still pretty much just using the volume for everything, but they are doing better at like going to different places to hide it.
Oh, the locations are so much more interesting.
There's less just caves. Just regular like brown caves.
Like
there's
okay,
less of those.
The coven does still live in a cave, but like there's a good okay. One thing I do think is funny though. Why do monsters just keep randomly attacking this spot? Like, what is this, like, Tokyo in the 80s? What's going on with this, one little spot they're living in?
What spot?
Where the Mandalorians live.
Their cave?
Yeah, in the first episode, they get attacked by, like, a giant alligator monster.
Yeah.
And then in the most recent episode, they get attacked by a giant pterodactyl monster. Like, just go in the cave.
They need to put up a dome.
Yeah, or, like, make a fence.
Just make a fence. Maybe put
or
up
go
a laser
inside,
fence.
maybe.
I like how are they all just, like, hiding in that
All right,
one
we'll talk
little
about that later. What's next?
Anyway. DC stuff. Sam, you want to get into DC stuff?
Yes, let's do some DC stuff.
There's more of this than anything else. All right, an animated Batman Beyond movie was in the works at DC before Gunn and Safran arrived. Dan Casey was writing. I think that's interesting. Which means they were developing an animated and a live-action Batman Beyond movie at the same time.
I don't think Batman Beyond will ever get any interesting developments ever again.
Now, I don't know if this was supposed to be theatrically released or not.
It was not.
If it wasn't, then yeah, whatever. It was probably just going to be like
this was an HBO Max thing for sure.
Direct-to-DVD thing.
No, it was an HBO Max thing, 100%.
You think it was live action?
No,
it was animated.
I'm saying I guarantee you this was an HBO Max thing.
Well, you know those like hour-and-a-half long animated movies they do?
Yeah, and you know how none of those have released on Blu-ray since HBO Max?
No, they do.
They do, but they release on HBO Max the same day.
Because no one watches Blu-ray. But like,
exactly. This was an HBO Max
yeah,
thing.
it was a direct-to-DVD. It was probably. If it was theatrical, what were they doing? Clancy Brown has been cast as Salvatore Maroni in The Penguins.
Okay, cool.
The series begins filming in New York right now. There's set photos of him in that big old
yeah,
penguin
you were there, right?
I didn't see him.
Didn't you see him from
Maybe
far
I
away?
didn't. I didn't recognize him. But no. God, why would you agree to do a TV show where you have to put that on every day? Like a movie. Movie's 2 hours. That TV show is going to be like 8 hours.
Maybe
and
they'll
he's
just
in every scene.
Maybe they'll just film all of his scenes like over the course of 2 days.
He's the main character. He's got to be in everything.
He's not in every scene though.
He's going to be in like 80%.
Like, he'll probably be in like 60% of scenes.
That's so. That'd be a nightmare. Flash season 9 has officially wrapped filming after 10 long years. Sam,
good riddance. I was really.
Have you been caught up on the new season?
No, I was going.
It's really bad.
I was going
it's
to
so bad
because I had this spark. I had just a shred of hope. I was like, maybe they'll go out. They don't even have to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
They just have to go out with a. You know what?
Yeah.
This was good. This was a good. I remember this being cool.
No, they screwed it up royally.
No.
It's
What was
so
I
bad.
thinking? These are the Flash
Honestly,
writers
okay.
we're talking about.
So they did their.
No. They did Bat Metal, and they did it with just the Flash one, and it's not even Batman. It's just some random
it's
lady.
Batwoman.
It's some random lady.
It's the CW Batwoman.
Yes, and who is CW Batwoman?
Ian Wilder?
A random lady. Some random person who's completely unrelated to Batman.
Yeah, so they did their first arc, which was the Red Death one, and right now they're in the interlude, and then they're going to do their last arc ever. My hope is, because the first arc was really stupid, the interlude episode was probably the worst episode of television they've ever produced.
That's a great.
And then
how? There's no
then they have
way.
one more, and then they have the final arc. So my hope
How are they going to top
my
the
hope is that the
lightsabers?
final arc is like actually good and wraps the show up in like a nice bow. But dear God, have they failed?
I hope he fights
okay. You know Caitlin Snow, main character,
Frost. You mean? Killer Frost.
Main character.
Yeah.
Since the first episode.
Yes.
Been there the whole time. They were like, okay, this was the first episode.
Flash
this was the first episode of season 9. They're like, oh, she went into a chamber where they birthed a new alteration of Caitlyn, who has no memories, no powers. Oh, and by the way, Caitlin and Frost are now permanently dead. And all the characters are just like, yup, that makes sense. On to the next thing. Their friend.
So they wait a minute.
No.
Someone makes a clone of Caitlin.
No.
That has no memories,
No,
and then
it's
they
not a
kill
clone.
the normal one?
It's not a clone. You know how Caitlin and Frost were like living in the same brain or whatever?
Yeah.
So Frost had been separated from they were two separate people, and then Frost died. And then Caitlin went kind of nuts, like trying to bring her back to life. But in the process, when she went into the chamber, it wiped her memories, and now there's a new, just completely like blank slate one.
So she's like been reset to season 1.
She's been reset to 0. She has no memories of anything.
Oh, so she's like incapable
She's a new
of speech?
person. She's a completely new person.
Can she talk?
Yeah. Damn, come on.
Can she walk?
Yeah, she can
So
function.
she's not been wholly... So she's reset to like season 1.
No, she's not Caitlin. She's a different person.
Does she still do science?
No.
She's just like...
She doesn't do science and she doesn't have powers.
So she's like a Skyrim NPC.
She is super connected with nature. That's her whole thing.
She's a hippie.
She's a hippie. But the point is that a main character on the show for 8 years, the one of three original cast members still on the show, like by far the person Barry would have like the closest relationship to other than Iris,
Or Cisco.
died. No, Cisco's not on the show anymore.
Yeah.
But died off screen and nobody cares. They don't mourn, no one cries, there's not a scene where they're like, oh, we miss Caitlin. Freaking, they just immediately are like, okay, that's fine, and they move on. Imagine if your best friend for like your whole life died, and you were just like, well,
Not even
I guess it's too
not
mistake.
even dead, but just like reset to a
No.
new person. So you
No,
still
no,
have to
no.
walk around and talk to
Yes.
this human being that looks exactly like your friend,
But it's not
knowing
them.
that they're gone.
Yes. And it was off screen. She just walks in and explains that this happened. They don't show it. There's no goodbye. No one cares. There's zero concern.
She'll get her memories back.
No, she'll be back. But it's just...
Because if this was really like how this character ends, they would have like said
But
something.
what if it is? But what if it is?
Then someone got really high, watched the last episode of Chuck, and thought that's how you end a show.
I was like, I cannot believe this is happening right now. And the character is useless. She does nothing.
No, she'll get her memories back in like the last half of the last arc and come up with some idea that like fixes their problems.
I freaking can't. It's so dumb. And I know what they're going to do is when she does come back, they'll be like, oh no, our new friend is gone. What are we going to do without new
Oh no,
friend?
what are we gonna do
And
without
I'm like-
Jessica?
And I'm like, what about your like lifelong pal for your whole life who died and you all just like went to Subway after?
Okay. Hold up.
It's so...
Idea.
Imagine if on The
Oh,
Office...
hang on.
Imagine if on The Office, instead of Steve Carell leaving to go in Colorado...
His memory gets
he
erased.
died in a car accident in between seasons 7 and 8, and then everyone in the office is just like,
Okay.
all right, Andy's the boss now, what's new?
Okay, wait. Who's currently on Team Flash?
Barry and Iris, who, by the way, were
I just need names.
Barry, Iris, Chester.
Is
Chester's the new tech guy.
Is Chester a male or a female?
He's a male.
Okay.
He's new. He's just Cisco again.
Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. Chester and I'm gonna call her Amanda. Chester and Amanda are gonna
Chester already has a love interest on the team.
she'll die. So they're gonna get together.
Yeah, why not?
They're gonna get together. And then Caitlin's memories will come back. And then he'll be like, I want my girlfriend back, but then she'll be his girlfriend.
No, Sam. They're already 2 steps ahead of you. Because there's a character named Chillblaine, by the way.
Chillblaine?
Uh-huh.
Is that 2 words or 1?
He was Frost's love interest.
Mhm.
And when she died, he's super sad. He's the one who helped Caitlin build the machine. So they already did an entire arc where one character is sad about one of them dying, causes this whole situation, has the chance to bring either one of them back, and they choose to bring neither back to stay with now that there's a new one.
So wait, he erased her memory so that he could potentially bang the blank one?
The plan was that she would go into the machine, and then there would just be Frost would be back, and Caitlin would be back, and they'd be like two separate people again. And then instead, there was neither, and now there's just a new one. And he was sad because he wanted to bring Frost back, but everyone else was like, "But you can't erase this new person because it's a new person." And then they didn't. And then he turned bad, and then he turned good again. And now he's kind of on the team.
Sounds like something the Flash writers would do.
Yeah,
all right, what's next?
But please, as long as they don't script the episode where they bring like all of the Arrowverse cast back.
They will.
I know they will.
They will.
Please.
It's not even that they will; it's that they have to. I think they have
no choice.
They have made some like, I don't know what the word is. Some deal with Satan that compels them to. It's like they have to make the show bad, or like he gets to eat the souls of their children or something. Something's going on here.
It's the final season. The grand finale of The Flash, of the Arrowverse, of this age of superhero television. And they literally chose the dumbest thing they could possibly do.
You know what that sounds like to me?
Flash.
Out on a wet fart.
You get that on a t-shirt? Going out on a wet fart?
Yes, we can. All right, what's next? Next thing.
Keanu Reeves has spoken to James Gunn about the Constantine sequel, and it's not been canceled yet.
I think James Gunn just likes Constantine.
I think they'll let him do it.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Because why not? Why just let him be Constantine in the new?
Yeah, why not? Plus, he's going to be super big when John Wick comes out.
Yeah. Batman Cape Crusader has been picked up by Prime Video and receives a 2-season order. That was one of those shows
that's good. I actually
they scrapped from HBO Max because they were trying to sell off stuff to make money, and then
I'm fine with that. We have Amazon Prime. I want to watch that show. I'm chill.
Just put it out and save the Superman one too. There's going to be a Superman.
No, that one I don't care about.
I want that one too. That
one was like for 6-year-olds. Where
I
he
don't
only
care.
watched the Daily Planet. You don't even like anime.
It's not an anime.
It's anime. The style was like an anime art style.
It was not.
Look it up.
We had this. I remember this discussion.
Yeah, he looks like an anime character.
No, he doesn't. He just looks like a cartoon character.
That's because you're being brainwashed. All right, next.
James Gunn states they are currently working on integrating Wonder Woman into more animated content and even might be producing an outright animated Wonder Woman series.
Okay, sure, whatever.
That's cool. If they do an animated Wonder Woman show, just do Wonder Woman animated series and just set it in the please.
They won't. They don't know.
They won't.
They don't know how to do
something
things.
Dumb.
All right.
Zack Snyder teases a DC convention called Full Circle, where the Snyder DC trilogy will be screened in IMAX, and all proceeds will go to suicide prevention. The con will run from April 28th to the 30th, 2023.
That's cool.
Apparently, DC is like supporting this too.
Good thing to support.
I can't wait for more people to.
I think it'd be funny if they didn't. They'd be like, no, we won't suicide prevent.
Apparently, they have like a deal where they'll like officially sponsor this and let him do it if he like at the convention like okays the
publicly
new DC.
Denounces himself as the
publicly like acknowledges and encourages the new version.
Publicly endorses the new
stuff. So if he goes
stuff
on stage and goes like, I am supportive of what James Gunn is doing and DC is cool again.
Yeah.
Like as long as he does that, he's allowed to do
He's
this.
What's the word? He is relinquishing his claim to the throne.
Which he never had.
Well, he had for a while.
For like 3 years.
And then someone else kind of took it away.
And then people have been yelling about putting him back in power for 6 years.
Okay, what next?
James Gunn officially confirmed he will direct Superman Legacy, Sam.
Oh yeah, I have this I do have to pull up.
I'll read. It's just text. I'll just read the statement.
That's okay. I got it up here.
Yes, this is his words.
That's not the right one.
Yes, what was that?
As a poster from Twitter.
Yes, I'm directing Superman Legacy to be released July 11th, 2025.
Yeah, we got a nice...
My brother Matt told me when he saw the release date, he started to cry. I asked him why. He said, dude, it's Dad's birthday. I hadn't realized. It's your dad.
How do you not... okay, sure.
I lost my dad almost 3 years ago. He was my best friend. He didn't understand me as a kid, but he supported my love of comics and my love of film. I wouldn't be making this movie now without him. It has been a long road up to this point. I was offered Superman years ago. I initially said no because it didn't have a way in that felt unique and fun and emotional that gave Superman the dignity he deserved. Then a bit less than a year ago, I saw a way in many ways centering around Superman's heritage, both how his aristocratic Kryptonian parents and his Kansas farmer parents inform who he is and the choices he makes. So I chose to finally take on writing the script, but I was hesitant to direct, despite the constant pestering by Peter Safran and others to commit. And then parentheses, sorry, Peter.
Who's Peter Safran?
Peter Safran is the co-head of DC. He's like the
Okay, sure. Keep going.
producer one. Just because I write something doesn't mean I feel it in my bones, visually and emotionally, enough to spend over 2 years directing it, especially not something of this magnitude. But the long and the short of it is, I love this script, and I'm incredibly excited as we begin this journey. # up and away. He had to direct this.
Yeah, he likes this movie a lot.
Well, if this is like the first thing in his universe, he's got to be the one who did it, like himself.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't make sense if he was like, and Joss Whedon's doing Superman Legacy.
And Bob is going to direct.
Bob is going to direct it. No, like, he had to do this.
Yeah.
I think he can make a really good Superman movie.
I think he's about to make a really good
I know
Superman
everyone
movie.
is like, he can only do snark and quips and references, and I'm like,
Maybe if you gave him something else.
have
he
you
would
ever
do something
actually
else.
seen any of the movies he's made? Remember all those really emotional, well done
Remember
scenes?
that time where you cried in
And
Guardians
all
of the Galaxy
the
2?
Guardians and Suicide Squad?
Remember when
those?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 happened and you were crying?
Yep. Over
He did that.
Yondu
Remember
dying?
that?
He did that.
Remember when he said,
Imagine what he'll do when he kills Pa Kent.
you're going to be so crying.
I'm gonna show
You're going to
him.
be crying so bad.
Okay.
Eyes are going to fall out.
And then, speaking of people who are not willing to direct DC movies, Ben Affleck reveals he has no interest in directing a DC film during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. And I quote, I have nothing against James Gunn. Nice guy. Sure, he's going to do a great job. I just wouldn't want to go in and direct in the way that they're doing that. He also went on to mention that shooting Justice League was a horrible nightmare, and he's only in The Flash for 5 minutes.
So he's not salty at all.
No, not
No.
bitter.
Zero salt detected.
Now, this was a whole controversy because James Gunn had said they had like talked to him and talked about him doing a DC movie, but also like maybe they had that meeting and he was interested, and then later on he changed his mind, and it wasn't entirely driven by like some weird loyalty to Zack Snyder
Or maybe like
James Gunn.
they just like had a meeting and they both walked away with like different understandings of what just happened.
Or like James Gunn was like, "Hey, what if you did Booster Gold?" And he was like, "I kind of want to do Batman." And they were like, "I don't. What about? I think we should do this with Batman." And he was like, maybe not." Maybe they had a conversation, and then he chose to do something else,
Yeah, maybe he just wants to do another
and
thing.
didn't go home and pray to his idol of Zack Snyder.
Maybe he didn't go to his Zack Snyder shrine and put the Zack Snyder
like
movie
people on Twitter do on a daily basis.
All right. Anyway, next.
Tom Cruise personally requested that David Zaslav allow The Flash to be screened for him. He reportedly loved the film and called it, and I quote, the movie we need right now.
What does Tom Cruise have to do with anything?
So basically, Warner Brothers placed this really weird, like, PR story about how Tom Cruise endorses and loves The Flash.
That's so random. Why?
Because Top Gun was so popular, Hollywood has dubbed him like Mr. Movies. So like he's the movie guy now.
Some random guy said, "This is the movie we need."
Like, who was like, you know what? I'm a little iffy on The Flash, but if Tom Cruise really
Tom
loves
Cruise really wants to
it,
see it.
Top Gun Maverick was real good, so maybe it's the best.
Maybe
movie
I should
ever
check out his religion too. I've heard good things.
made.
I should check out everything.
Why are
he
they
endorses.
doing this now?
This is so
Why
random.
did they do this the week?
This is like the most random
They
thing
had
I've read
another
today.
DC movie that was about to release and majorly underperformed, and their strategy instead was, let's promote the movie after this that comes out in 2 months.
Nah, screw other Zach.
Screw Zachary Levi.
DC only got room for one Zachary, and they're both gone.
And they're both fired.
All right, tell me about Dwayne Johnson.
Tom Cruise. What is this?
Oh, did you not finish reading that tweet I sent you in the group chat?
You think that really happened?
I don't think you finished reading it.
I did read it.
Yeah, I know. So, but you
That
put it
was a
in.
fake tweet, but this was actually.
Oh, so it did actually happen.
no, it did no, not that.
Not
part.
that part. Obviously, I mean the first part.
So Dwayne Johnson reportedly personally vetoed including the JSA and the post-credit scene for Shazam: Fear of the Gods.
Oh, he personally vetoed it with all his
and
authority.
declined to cameo in the film. So apparently,
It was supposed to have him in
and
it.
his goal at the studio was to rework the universe to center on him and Henry Cavill's Superman.
Wow, no way.
And Zachary Levi confirmed this on Instagram. So apparently,
Because it was blatantly obvious to everyone watching.
Apparently, someone at DC just granted Dwayne Johnson the ability to do that, and they just went, "Okay, Dwayne, whatever you want." Who gave him the power to do that?
I think Dwayne Johnson doesn't know what his job is.
That would be like if Robert Downey Jr. was like, "No, Spider-Man will not be in Captain America 3." And they were all just like, "Well, I guess we have to listen to him. He's Robert Downey Jr."
No, that would be like, who's like someone who plays something completely irrelevant in the MCU?
Like the guy, if
That'd be okay, you know.
like if Sharon Carter, like the actress.
That'd be like if Green Goblin was like, no, I won't let the Sinister Six be in the next Spider-Man movie when there's not a Sinister Six movie planned, and also no one cares what his opinion is.
And but they're also like, cross that one off the list. We can't do it.
God dang it, we can't do it now. Dang, what's his actor's name? I'm forgetting right now.
For Green Goblin?
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, that'd be like if Willem Dafoe was like, no, you can't do it.
Can't do it. I said no.
And they were like, God dang it,
We
guys.
can't
Willem
do it.
Dafoe said no.
Who?
He's
Also,
not in charge.
He's not in.
He's just a guy.
You don't have to listen to him. Why are you listening to him?
Why is he able to veto stuff?
He's never read a comic book in his entire life.
He's only read Shazam, and he only read the title.
Who put this man in charge?
No one. He's not even in charge.
Why were they listening to him?
He just talks loud enough. I think he's just big enough that everyone's afraid to tell him no.
Everyone's threatened and they don't say no.
If The Rock barged in this room right now and said, "Shut down the podcast. We're not making it anymore," I'd be like, "Okay, The Rock, you said it.
Whatever
You got it, Dwayne. Whatever you say goes."
Also,
I'm not going to tell Dwayne
he
no.
wanted to rework the universe around himself and Henry Cavill's Superman.
Honestly, don't even think that would have been
That
bad
would
of an
be
idea.
like if Marvel was like, our new main characters, Spider-Man and Fing Fang Foom.
No, that would be like if they picked who's like the least known MCU character? Okay, Ant-Man. That'd be like if you took who's Ant-Man? That'd be like if you took Yellow Jacket out of Ant-Man 1, made Yellow Jacket his own movie where he's played by who's another pro wrestler? John Cena. He's played by John Cena, all right? And then John Cena's like, "You know what? We're going to build up to an Iron Man versus Yellow Jacket movie." It's like, why?
Those characters have nothing to do
Those
with
guys
each
have
other.
nothing to do with each other.
And once a character no one's ever heard
also,
of.
one of those characters is basically made up because of how much you've changed about it.
Who? It's Black Adam.
Who let you in here, Dwayne?
It's Black
Dwayne,
Adam.
didn't we cancel your security pass? Who's letting you in here?
Now, I know people are like, Marvel made minor characters succeed, and that's true. They made Iron Man a big hit.
But you know who Iron Man isn't?
Iron Man's
not Ironmonger.
No, that would be like if they did an Ironmonger movie.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're gonna spend $500 million on Ironmonger the movie, and then when it doesn't succeed, we're gonna blame everyone else for its failure.
Maybe taking the villain of an already incredibly obscure character and then relying on the name recognition of the guy playing him to sell your movie is not a great plan.
It makes zero sense.
Maybe that's a bad plan.
Well, literally, I would, like, at least me and you would have been smart enough to be like, no, why would Black Adam be the main character?
DC, just please let us run your movies.
I feel like what happened...
We're so much better at it
I
than
feel like
you.
what happened here was that Dwayne Johnson is a producer on the Shazam and Black Adam movies, right?
I don't think he is.
No, he was.
For Shazam?
Yeah, because like his production company.
I don't remember him being in the credits, though.
No, but his production company works on it. So, like, I feel like what happened was after Zack Snyder's Justice League, Walter Hamada like checked out, and then like Dwayne Johnson just walked in, and he was like, "All right, I'm ready to film Black Adam."
He was like, "Listen,
and
everybody,
Walter was just like,
and he walked up to the table where all the executives were, and he took his whopping penis and he went, boom, I'm in charge now.
"No,
Listen, Black Adam, he's his own man. He's going to be in his own movie. All right? And he's not going to be in your little movie about, what's his name? Shazam? He's the main character? No, screw that.
Black Adam.
Black Adam, and he's fighting Superman.
But he doesn't. He doesn't even fight. Why?
That's not a thing Shazam does. That's not a thing Black Adam does, by the way.
He fights Sabak, an Atom Smasher. They took a minor character, gave it a $200 million budget, like a $200 million marketing budget, filled it with a bunch of other characters no one's heard of, refused to let it connect to any of the pre-existing properties, and then complained when no one cared.
You know how I really liked Green Lantern and thought he was really cool?
Yeah.
You know how they ruined him forever?
Remember how Black Adam got his own movie?
So, you know how I really liked Dr. Fate and thought he was really cool?
Yeah.
Now I'm sad because they've ruined him forever. He's never getting a movie.
And they're never going to do it again because Black Adam didn't work, and they're going to blame, Dr. Fate, it was probably his fault.
He wasn't pulling his weight.
Yeah, if only Dr. Fate had been better.
Had been more Fate-like.
He was such a good Dr. Fate, too.
He would have been the perfect...
And now we'll never see him again. Because we sped him. They shot their load.
That would be like if you cast Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and then only had him appear once in a Green Goblin spin-off movie. And he wasn't working for the Avengers. He was working for
the dumbest.
the Super Patrol.
So dumb. Dumb. It makes
All right.
zero sense.
Okay, question. Could they have done it worse?
Yes.
Is it possible? How could you have made it worse?
What if we made Clayface the main character?
But that could have been okay.
Detective Chimp, and those are our
okay, but that would have been hilarious. That would have been a great movie.
Okay, fine. He fights the Question.
You know what? I would argue Clayface has more name recognition than Black Adam does.
He probably does. Not now.
Not anymore because of the movie.
Not Black Adam, but 5 years ago, 100%.
Absolutely, 100%.
If you asked a person on the street, they would be 100 times more likely to say, "I know who Clayface is."
Do you want to know
Black Adam?
You want to know how minor of a character Black Adam is? What was the most popular iteration of Shazam before the movie?
In the Justice League animated series?
The Young Justice and DC animated show.
The most popular.
The cartoons were the most popular version.
Yeah, he was in the
version
cartoons for a little bit. He was in the Justice League.
You know who doesn't show up in those?
Black Adam.
Black Adam does not show up in any of those shows.
Not a single time.
Ever, not even once.
Nope. No one cared. You know why? Because
he's
just
a dumb
stupid
character
villain who has no motivation. It does nothing.
He is literally just the evil version of the main guy. He
wears a black Shazam outfit and just likes power and wants more power.
He is the most generic villain ever.
Okay, you know what? My question has now pivoted.
He makes Dr. Evil look extremely complex.
You know what? I don't blame DC for doing something dumb.
No, I do.
Because DC has always done dumb things.
No, but they don't have to.
But why did The Rock think this would work? That's my question. Does he just have such a massive, ginormous ego that he thought he could take a character that not a single person has ever heard of and make him and just muscle himself into being the main character?
Okay, counterpoint. What's something The Rock has done that hasn't worked out?
The movie Rampage.
But he wasn't in charge of those.
He's never in charge of things. This was the first thing he was in charge of.
True.
So dumb. Doesn't make.
I mean, okay, franchise stuff.
Well, he was in Fast and Furious, but then he quit because him and Vin Diesel got in a
Fast and Furious
contest.
is still doing that, still making lots of money.
Yeah. This is the first thing he ruined himself by just showing up.
Yeah.
Decide. Did you see that picture of them screening it for him? And there's four guys in suits just staring at him while he watches the movie, and he's just hulking in his big white t-shirt at the conference table. I'll show you the picture. What is it? It's just the dumbest thing that's ever happened.
DC, let this be a lesson to not take advice on how to make your franchise from the muscularest dude in the room. Because the real nerds didn't go to the gym and work out. They don't got those. You should listen to the guys who don't got as many muscles to make your movies. James Gunn was the right call.
Yeah. This was him. Like,
what is this?
That's him when they were screening Black Adam.
This
for him.
looks like the like Kingpin. From,
Yeah,
like,
it looks like he's like planning his evil takeover.
Can't wait. I'll show this camera because it's right here. There we go. There's The Rock. There he is watching his movie.
And that was supposed to be like screening Black Adam. Get hyped. And it's... Look at the desk is covered in Black Adam action figures.
Oh, it is actually covered in Black Adam action figures. I think
he's got his energy drinks on it,
and he's got a Datoa energy drink with him too. I think this is a lesson in hubris.
Oh my God.
I think Icarus. Icarus didn't fly too close to the sun.
Past the sun.
He flew straight into the sun. He flew straight into the sun's core, and then he exploded in a flaming ball of self-confidence.
It's so much funnier that it didn't work. Like, imagine
it's
if it
honestly
had.
hilarious.
Imagine if it had worked.
This is gonna make a great documentary in like 10 years. Oh my
God, we gotta make it. We gotta make it.
We actually should. That's actually a good
like
idea.
The downfall of Dwayne Johnson. Like it literally all just crashed and burned, and he was just the guy standing there. So they
no wait. We should actually try to make a documentary.
Well, we have
about how The Rock ruined DC.
No, because you have to wait for the James Gunn stuff to play out
to pull it back up
before you can go back in. But like, it's so absurd, and like that man has never read a comic book in his entire life.
No, he's in the gym.
He was the guy.
Doesn't he work out like 16 hours a day or something like that?
He was the guy bullying the comic book nerds in high school.
Yeah, he's the guy who threw the comic book nerds over the freaking rails of the staircase.
Yeah, that was him. Like, this is the ultimate example of like the school jock having to join like the AV club. And he just declares himself in charge with zero knowledge of how any of this works.
And do you know how I know he's never read a comic book? Because he thinks Black Adam is cool.
He thinks he's cool. He thinks he's so cool.
He thinks Black Adam's like a good character.
Like, who thinks that's cool?
He thinks Black Adam is like, not even just a cool character, but like just a character. Like a real character.
He doesn't do anything. He doesn't have a name. He's just evil Shazam. That would be like if he wanted to play Bizarro.
And then made Bizarro like the coolest.
He thought he was
ever.
like the coolest man to ever live.
Bizarro's brain is a square.
He's just zombie Superman.
He walks through walls instead of doors because he's dumb. The Rock, that's not a good guy to be.
The dumbest thing to ever happen in Hollywood.
And the best part is
that it was a horrible film.
Well, it's funny because it ended up that way. But he could have played it.
No, he could have walked in that room and said he was Superman, and they would have given it.
They would have let him be Superman.
He could have said he was freaking Batman.
Now, okay, I think he likes Henry Cavill Superman too much. I don't think he would have done that.
No, but he could have been.
He could have been someone else.
He could have been Shazam.
Yeah,
they would have let him just be Shazam.
If like 12 years ago, when they originally came up with all this, he could have just said, "I'm Shazam." They would have been like, "Okay,
I'm not feeling Black Adam. What if I'm just Shazam?" They would have been like, "Okay, we can make that work." All you have to do is cast a different kid. But no, he was Black Adam, and then for like 12 years, he was like, "No, I will not do anything else. This is my goal in life."
He could have been
to play Black Adam.
How many DC characters?
He was hired before they hired Henry Cavill's Superman.
Yeah.
He could have been Superman. He could have been Batman.
Okay, I don't think he was popular.
He could have been.
I don't think
he definitely could have been Aquaman.
Oh yeah, Aquaman for sure. But I don't think
he could have been a Green Lantern.
I think Superman. I don't think he was as big. He wasn't that big 12 years ago.
He could have been Darkseid.
He could have been.
He could have been Lex Luthor.
That would have actually been sick. Lex Luthor would be
no, but they would. It wouldn't make sense.
That would have at least.
But they would let him do it.
Yeah, exactly.
He could have been anyone he wanted, and he picked the dumbest option. Like, at least if he had picked Detective Chimp, it would have been funny. Like,
the Rock's voice is coming out of the chimpanzee.
He picked the boringest, dumbest one. And then
And who was the...
He tried with his whole being
to make him cool.
To make it a thing. And he didn't fall flat on his face. He, like, pantsed himself, fell over, poked his own eyeball out, and then rolled down a hill into an incinerator.
No. And landed in a truck full of clown supplies. And then walked out dazed and confused, dressed like a clown, and then fell off of another cliff into another clown costume, then into an incinerator.
Just the sheer balls to walk in the room and just be like, this multi-billion-dollar franchise, I'm in charge.
That's me now.
It's me now. And for everyone else in the room, just go,
yeah,
okay. Sure.
This is a good idea.
Whatever you want. Like,
whatever you say, Mr. The Rock.
If I had just worked out a lot that day, I freaking probably could have been in charge of DC, man.
Yeah, if you had been a pro wrestler instead of a podcast host.
But like, he was in Jumanji. Like, what was the thing? What was the thing that let him have this power? What allowed the hierarchy of the DC universe to change?
I think he broke the DC universe.
He must have had, like, naked photos of, like...
He must have had some crazy dirt.
He had to have
everyone
something.
in there.
Because they just let him do whatever. They were having a years-long dispute with Henry Cavill.
You know what?
And he just
said, what happened.
He's in the movie. And they went, okay.
You know what happened? He was banging all their wives. And he was like, you're going to let me also be the main guy? Like, or I'm going to tell everybody.
I'm going to tell everyone whose wife I'm currently banging. I'm going to tell them that I'm also banging your wife.
And then I'm going to bang you too.
Like, it's not even just DC. Who at Warner Brothers? Who at AT&T? With, like, all right... Guys, the star of Rampage. It's Hobbs from Hobbs and Shaw. He's in charge now.
This is the most logical solution.
Obviously. I mean, everyone else quit, so I guess it's him. He's literally was just the last guy in the room, and they just put him in charge. He was the last guy on the boat. He was like the guy who's supposed to sweep the deck, but everyone else abandoned ship, so now he's the captain.
Scientists need to study this. There's something happened here. Something that's never happened before happened here, and we need scientists to figure it out.
Okay, we have to move on.
Now, let's keep going.
We can talk about some movies if you want.
Yes. Let's do the reviews now.
So,
let's just, since we were already talking about it a little bit, let's get right into it. Let's go with Shazam.
Yeah.
Fury of the Gods.
Sam. The movie?
It's a movie. So, I thought the movie was all right.
Same.
For the most part. For most of the movie, I was like, okay. It's okay. It's all right, Yeah. Shazam's having fun. All the characters having fun. The magic door room's pretty cool. We got a funny pen. Funny pens. Then the movie ends. And I don't know if I've ever hated a movie ending more than I think this might be the worst movie ending I've ever seen, actually.
So,
because it relies on a trope so old, and so dated,
and so just like matter of fact that they did it,
that the ancient Romans and the Greeks, like 5,000 years ago, figured out that was a bad way to end movies.
Yeah. So, generally, my thoughts. I thought this was probably a little bit worse than the first one.
I would agree with that.
I liked parts of it more, but I thought this one had more problems than the first movie.
I think that's true. I think that's
so. Things I liked. I think
it got better and worse at the same time.
I love the cast.
The cast is great.
They're all great.
Their chemistry is great.
I love the family stuff. I thought the villains in this were an improvement.
The villains were so much better.
I thought the scale was better. The effects were better. The costumes fit.
the costumes didn't look as
Zachary
goofy.
Levi's wearing a costume that fits him, which is great.
Instead of one that was made for The Rock that he's wearing.
No, but it wasn't like it was so bulky.
Yeah, it was so big. It looked so weird.
Like his arms were like the
Little
size
bitty
that they
baby
are
arms.
here, and then then his chest was just like bulging out
Humongous.
7 inches from his chest. But
Yeah, the costumes look better.
the costumes are better. I like the director. I think he does a really good job here. I like the tone for the most part. It's really a dumb and corny movie, but I like it when superheroes are dumb and corny because, like, it's freaking Shazam.
I like it when they're dumb and corny, but only to the point where I still care about the stakes. If you get too dumb and corny, I start to not care.
Okay, I get it. I think it's mostly just a personal thing.
I like to feel like there is a sense of like danger, like the characters are in danger, even if they're really not. I like to feel like there's something, they're in danger. There's bad stuff going on. But when it's too, I don't think this movie got to this point. But when it's too goofy and it's too campy, you start to be like, oh, all right. Well, they clearly, like, even the writers don't care if the tension feels real or not.
Things I didn't like. The ending.
Ending is so bad.
The MacGuffin.
The MacGuffin, I didn't really have an issue with, but it was
I felt there was like,
it's very poorly defined.
Yeah, and it didn't need to be in it.
Actually, that's not true. It's very well defined, but it ruins the movie if you think about it for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah. I like Zachary Levi. I know people on Twitter hate him for dumb reasons, but
Why do they hate him?
he had said something about like how he doesn't trust Big Pharma, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's anti-vax," and I was like,
That's not the same.
you know, like if I asked you if you trusted Big Pharma, you'd also say no, right?
9 times out of 10, yeah, pretty much.
If I was like, "Hey, you big fan of Pfizer Corp?" You'd probably be like, "Nah."
Hey, do you love paying $300 for insulin? That's the best.
Yeah,
right?
that's my favorite.
I love doing that.
But I don't think, like, I feel like him and the actual, well, he's not even a kid anymore. So Asher Angel plays like Billy Batson, right? And Zachary Levi plays adult Billy Batson. However, in real life, Asher Angel is like 20 years old.
He is now.
And Zachary Levi is like 48.
Yeah.
So he goes from being a young man to being like a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
So like he's not like before when he was a kid, he'd grown into an adult.
That made sense.
That made sense.
It's been a little while
But now
since
he's
then.
just like a young man who goes into old man.
And I
like
think-
at what point does he transition?
I think that's because they took way too long to make this movie.
I was thinking,
And I think it took way too long.
in my brain, it felt like it had been like 7 years since the first one.
It's been like 5, I think.
It's been 4.
Pretty long time.
Which is like 3 years is like a good turnaround. 4 is not that long, but like
when all of the actors are kids, you
but
gotta
even
pick
in
up
real
the pace
life,
a bit.
20 years have happened since 2019. 7,000 things have happened since 2019.
I don't think it's been 20 years.
I'm not saying literally. I'm saying like in terms of events that happened in the world.
A lot has gone on.
Remembering the first Shazam movie is like a distant.
That was
distant
before
memory.
COVID, you guys.
Even just in terms of comic book movies, that came out before Endgame happened. Like
Yeah, that was like another era of
Shazam
superhero
1
movies.
was forever ago. So for them to just like jump back in now that everyone's
Pick up right where we left
3
off.
years older, it's been 2 years since the last one, but just to, like pick up right away and just to like keep chugging along, it just felt really awkward to me. And it's not because the characters felt out of sync. It's because it had been such a long time since we've last seen them, and I didn't feel like we properly caught up with them.
Yeah.
Like Billy Batson is like a kid is barely in this.
He's in like
He's
3
in like
scenes, I
maybe
think.
2 or 3 scenes, and I was like, I want to see what's happening in like his life.
The
Like
movie was really more about like his brother than him.
we have like a whole cast of kids, and they're not all main characters. We don't need to like spend a bunch of time with all of them.
No, because there's a lot of
But
them.
I want to see like What's been happening with them? How has his like been relationship?
If there had
changed?
been like one scene
What's
at the
he doing
beginning,
in school? What's he want to like do with his life? But they're just like, all right, we're back and we're Shazam all the time now.
it would have been
Shazam all
nice.
day.
It would have been nice for there to be a scene at the beginning where we see what each of them is up to.
Yeah,
Like, what's going on?
what's Freddy doing?
Instead,
What's Billy
the movie
doing?
starts and we're like, "Whoa, right away!
We're
going!
It's
Shazam
all superhero
time!
stuff all the
Whoa,
time.
the bridge is falling
And-
down, and we're saving cars."
Which is weird because this part about the first one that worked the most was the kids stuff.
Yeah, it was mostly
Like,
about him as a kid and like balancing his life.
Him with the superhero body with his friend, goofing around doing kid stuff. Like
Yeah.
that was the good part. And this one, they're like it's all superheroes, and it's not as nearly as fun. It's mostly just like straight up superhero stuff. And I also don't think I was getting back to what I said before. Zachary Levi acts like a child more than actual child Billy Batson does.
There were a lot of that. There was a lot of that in this
Like,
movie,
I feel like
especially with the youngest character, the youngest Shazam girl, the one who's like 6 or whatever.
Darla or whatever.
Yeah, her as a Shazam, as an adult character, that actress was acting like way more
Like a
childish.
baby.
Yeah, because the character when she's a little girl, she's like quick-witted.
I
Like,
wanna know how
the little
she's
girl
supposed to
acts
be.
more like an adult than the adult version.
And
of
I feel like that
herself
apply. The one of them is just straight up the adult and is the kid and the superhero because she's supposed to be like 22. Mary Marvel is the same, so that translates.
Yeah.
For the very limited amount of time he is in superhero form, I think Freddy's like grown up version is very similar to like Kid Freddy.
Yeah,
He's a
that
little
one
less-
I think is the
He's a little
closest.
less manic, but I think that's just because he's older. But like Zachary Levi plays him as like a hyperactive 12-year-old, and Billy Batson and then
Billy Batson's like super calm.
Asher Anger plays him like as like a mature young adult.
Yeah.
Like like Billy will be handling like serious subjects, having serious conversations, just walking around doing
Okay,
normal
like
things.
Zachary Levi,
And then he'll Shazam up and then like he just starts like nagging at the camera and like talking about like thesaurus.com and saying like and like flossing or whatever. It's just,
like,
it's a complete
Zachary
disconnect.
Levi is like Malcolm in the Middle, and then the other guy is like a character from Riverdale.
Yeah.
Like one of them acts like an adult, but there's like a kid all the time, and the other one acts like a 12-year-old, and he's like 40.
Yeah,
so
and-
there's a little bit of a.
It's such a major like
And I don't really feel like this was the actor's fault. This is definitely a director thing
I don't
because the direction should have been different.
I feel like they should have just been. I feel like what happened was they were just like, all right, go nuts, Zach, and they just like let him riff.
No,
and
the
goof.
direction should have been more consistent. The director should have been like, all right, he's supposed to be a little bit more mature
But
now.
The weird part is
maybe
it's
is a little bit more
written that
mature.
way.
But the way the line is written can be said in a way that's not childish. Like just because it's an immature thing to say,
I
doesn't
feel
mean
like
you have to say it in
it
an
would
immature
work
way.
better if they would give young Billy some goofy stuff to do.
Yeah,
The problem is they give adult Shazam
all the goofy
all
stuff.
the goofy and all the superhero,
And every time Billy was a kid, it was always serious.
and then Billy is always serious. So you never see that like translation of emotion. Like if if like adult Shazam acted serious, it would feel weird because he doesn't act that way ever.
Yeah.
And if Billy acted goofy, you'd be like, whoa, that's a jump. But if you just let it happen, if we saw them both act in the same way and get to both
and
experience
I think honestly,
emotional and goofy scenes, it would work better.
I
and
think
you'd
that
feel
could
more
have been
connection.
alleviated to a big degree if we just had more Billy scenes.
Yeah.
I think because the only Billy scenes we have is the one at the beginning where he's like, "Well, it's all or nothing."
He talks-
We can't go, and that's like kind
There's
of
the
more
very
serious.
start. He
And then there's
talks
the one
to
where he
Freddy,
talks to his older
and then he
sister.
shows up at the very end.
There's the one where he talks to his older sister, and she's like, your time in the
No, but
foster home's coming up.
Zachary Levi in that scene.
No, I thought he was Billy in that.
No,
scene.
because they're in the big cave and it's Zachary Levi.
No. There's one where they're in his bedroom. Remember? There's the one where they're in his bedroom and he's sitting on the bed and she's talking to him
Maybe he
when they're
is.
in the foster.
But it
house.
just shows you how little he's in it that I don't remember him being in that scene.
Yeah, but like the only scenes he were in was like that one, which was a more serious scene. The scene at the beginning,
Yeah.
which wasn't serious, but it wasn't really goofy. It was just kind of happening. And then there was the other one you were talking
At the
about.
very end, he shows
Yeah,
up
at
for
the
a
very
second.
end.
It's just they needed to put something in there that linked them. And because they're never on the same like emotional plane, it never works. And I don't think it's like Zachary Levi, he's playing the role he's asked to play fine. The problem is that they've set it up in a way where him and young Billy are not playing the same role. They are having them to do completely separate things, and because of that, they don't feel like the same character.
Yeah, there was just a bit more of a disconnect.
And I feel like their solution to that was, or how they handled it for like the other characters, that like Freddy is like Kid Freddy for like the whole thing,
almost the whole movie. He gets his powers taken
and then
away.
everyone else is just like in the background.
Yeah, they don't really
Really,
matter
only
at all.
3 of the main superheroes get any play. It's Mary, Billy, and with Freddy.
Which is fine. I think that was a smart choice to focus on just a few of
those
them.
3, I think, work. Like, I feel like him with the older sister stuff, like a lot of that works.
Yeah.
The problem is that we never see both sides of it, so it never feels 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
But moving on from that, let's talk about the villains for a second. So
It's Calypso and
it's Calypso and
another one.
what's the other one?
And another one.
I have it right in front of me. Let me look at it.
There's-
Hespera.
Hespera is the oldest one.
Hespera is the old one.
And then there was the younger one.
Younger one is Anthea, played by Rachel Zegler. It's Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, and Rachel Zegler. All fine. Lucy Liu, Helen Mirren are just kind of doing their normal thing.
Yeah, I think that I don't really have any problems with the acting for the villains. I just think that the villains' plan was really dumb.
I felt like so I guess we'll get into spoilers.
Yeah, let's get into spoilers.
But general opinions, recommend, no recommend.
I don't recommend this, to be honest. I think
can't-
just don't.
I really
bother.
want to, but I can't.
I would have recommended it if the ending didn't ruin the movie.
It's not the ending for me. It's just like how if they had focused stronger on the characters,
No, but most people
I think it would.
most people don't care about that. When I recommend a movie, I'm thinking, would like my friends want to go see this? And I think the ending actually I think most of them would be disappointed by that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into. I'm not going to recommend it either, just because I don't. I think there's too much flying around and shooting lightning, and like saying quips,
Not enough talking,
and not enough.
not enough chill.
Well, not enough sitting with their characters and getting into their lives.
Yeah.
I feel like we watched them go on an adventure. I don't feel like we actually saw a chapter in their story.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, but spoilers now. We're into spoiler time. So there's 2 MacGuffins.
There's the magic wizard stick.
There's the stick
There's an
from the
apple,
first movie, and then there's the magic apple.
which only shows up at the very end and kind of goes
So
over.
the magic stick is the first one. That lets the villains take away the Shazam
So the
family's
magic
powers.
staff allows you to take away or grant anyone
The
powers.
Shazam powers.
Now, did you notice there were conditions to the staff taking and or giving away powers?
What?
Do you remember in the first Shazam movie the requirement for the staff to give you powers?
You have to touch it and say Shazam?
And do you remember how they get their powers back, the gods?
What do you mean?
They touch the staff and they force the guy to say Shazam.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they just didn't have to do that ever again. They just point it and it goes pew.
Well, I guess to take it away, you just go. Phew.
But they give him back that way too.
No, they give
You
him
give
back.
Freddy his
all
powers
no,
back?
but he pokes it with his stick and then he.
No, but there's parts of the movie where they're flipping people's
Also, what
powers on
counts
and off
is
like a
you
light
touching
switch.
it. If you can get a crutch and touch it, you just get a tape measure and just poke it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Should define those.
Also,
better.
shouldn't the wizard have gotten his powers back when he touched it and said his name?
I think the wizard put
some
all
kind
of his
of powers
powers
back?
in the stick, so he can't get any powers.
But he still did the little piece of it.
So that's the one thing he can.
He can go.
Yeah, I'm glad they brought him
Also,
back.
what did that do? Did that dream?
It makes
dust?
no sense that he's alive.
Yeah,
But I'm glad they brought him back. I thought he was fun in this. I thought him and the Freddy stuff.
I'm
was
glad
really
he's
good.
in it because I like him as a character, but I don't think he should have been here.
It doesn't make sense, but I like that he's there.
Yeah, exactly.
But speaking of but anyway, so the apple is dumb.
The apple, was just sitting in their basement,
just out.
and then Mira, what her name was Mira?
Hespera.
Hespera just walks in, picks it up,
Okay,
leaves.
it makes
and that's
sense
it.
to me that the dumb kids would just lock her in the cell and be like, well, this is probably fine, and then just walk away. Like, that makes sense to me.
But they didn't leave one of the 6 of them to just, like...
Well, they're all, like,
there?
12, so, like, I get it. But
One of them's 22!
Yeah.
She's older than me! I would have gone, hey, why don't you watch it?
But, like, that I can understand. Because also, if one of them was standing there, they probably would have gotten beat up anyway. But,
Yeah, but at least they could have gone, hey,
Yeah.
she's escaping.
But also, so I, like, that
Okay, so for context, at one point they capture... His younger brother, Freddy, gets captured, and so they capture one of the evil gods
Yeah.
to try and get him to trade. Doesn't go well,
She
obviously.
just grabbed...
She just kind of walks out.
The magic apple is in the Rock of Eternity, and so she just grabs it and leaves.
The Rock of Eternity is their basement.
Yeah. But, like, that I got. The apple just, like, sitting on a pedestal somewhere, I was like...
Not even in a pedestal. It was just sitting on a book in their, like, library.
And I was like... The
just chilling
The
there.
Magic Council of Wizards were like, hey, this thing could destroy the Earth. Should we put it in a chest or something?
Hey, guys, I built this hall of infinite magic doors that go to, like, really hard places to get to. Should we put this world-ending relic in there? Nah, Steve, just put it on that table over there.
I
We'll
want to
deal with
look
it.
at it while I'm
We'll
reading.
deal with that later. We got this, like, dude in a black outfit shooting lightning out of his hands to go deal with.
Not even a reference to Black Adam in this movie, Sam.
Nope, not even once do they
They don't
reference
even
Black
like
Adam.
mention... Like, in the first one, they mentioned, like, the old champion.
Also, the Rock of Eternity is just a totally different place.
No, it's the same.
Black Adam.
Oh, no, in Black Adam, it's like a big...
Yeah, in Black Adam, it's a different place
It's the same
completely,
wizard,
and it's
though.
in a different place
It is
completely.
the same wizard. That
Same
was
wizard.
the only continuity piece they kept.
Which raises even more questions.
Yeah, but I like the set design of the Rock of Eternity though. I like that they like decked it out with like all their
Yeah, I like
keys
that
and
they
stuff.
like decorated.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense.
And I like the part of this I liked was like Billy running like
yeah, I like it when
a
their personality
superhero team
shows
with like
through.
his family.
And he's got like PowerPoint
Yeah, like
presentations
that. I
going
was
on.
like, yeah, that is stuff.
Like that's stuff we would
if a
do
kid
in that
became
situation.
a superhero, that's what they would do.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
they would give themselves really stupid names, and they would
like Captain Every Power.
they would go save a bridge, but they would suck at saving the bridge. Like that's all stuff that works for
I
me.
like that stuff. Yeah.
It's the stuff where like big vines are growing out of the ground and like there's a big dome. Like,
Tucker,
that's-
do you like Skittles, Tucker?
oh boy, Sam, golly gee, do I love Skittles.
Man, what if you want to taste the rainbow, Tucker?
Remember the part of the movie where it just stops dead in its tracks to
do a Skittles
commercial?
ad? Remember when they do a Skittles ad in the middle of
I
the
was
movie?
like, I hope that covered all the financial losses you're...
There's a part of the movie
I mean,
where
you don't have to explain it.
Well, I want
Saying
to
there's a
explain
Skittles ad in the middle of the movie kind of gives
But
it
if you
away.
have context for it, you realize how dumb it is. So there's all these mythical like Greek monsters attack, like there's a Cyclops.
Which I
and
thought looked pretty cool.
they looked all right. The CG was kind of meh, but you know it was okay.
They were kind of going for like a Ray Harryhausen thing.
Yeah, they were
I
kind of
thought
like that was okay. But there was like a Manticore and like all these like
like a
mythical
Cyclops and
creatures
stuff.
coming out, and they're like, "How do we stop them?" And then the wizard's like, "There is only one monster that can stop them. It's the unicorn."
yeah.
And then the little
It's like, okay, kind of predictable.
It's
but
like,
I get
okay,
it.
that's funny. Aha, is unicorns are cool. Okay. And then they go to the unicorn's cave, which is like just in the middle of a building somewhere.
I guess it just like popped up in
Yeah,
there.
it just like spawns right when they get
Yeah.
there. And then it charges at them. And it's like the demon unicorn, right? This ain't no normal unicorn. It's got like black fur.
Yeah.
Looks like the hell unicorn, right? It's coming up and then it stops dead in its tracks. And the little girl's like, taste the rainbow.
It
And
just hands it-
she says, taste the rainbow.
She says it twice.
Twice. And hands it like a handful of Skittles.
And it's like, I'm on your side, bro.
And then it eats the Skittles, and then an army of unicorns shows up, and they all ride together into battle. And then she says, taste the rainbow, and then she says it again, but this time she says the F word, but they cut it out just before she says it, which, by the way, I'm getting really tired of that trope of really old people or
okay,
babies saying the F word in movies.
it's funny because it's
We keep
vague.
doing that, especially in DC movies.
At least Black Adam used them.
Yeah, they actually said it.
Good for you. Did one thing right, Mr. Johnson.
I mean, I would argue that that's not necessarily good or bad. It's
I
just
mean,
kind of a
they
thing.
did it though, but they didn't like cut away.
Yeah, they didn't cut away.
But anyway,
All right.
not a whole lot else. To
Let's
say.
talk about the
post-credit
ending.
scene.
No. I want to talk about the ending.
Oh,
we
right,
haven't touched
yeah,
it
no.
yet.
Oh yeah.
So, spoiler alert. Big.
Oh
boy
wait, I didn't
spoilers.
finish my thing on the MacGuffins.
Oh yeah, we talked about the apple
So
and the stick.
I thought the apple was like not necessary. I feel like they could have just done the stick. Like if they just given the powers of the apple to the stick, I feel like it could have
Well,
worked.
but then there would have been no reason for them to not just start by doing that. Like, they would have just done that right as soon as they got the stick.
But, okay, here's an idea. What if...
I mean, there was some dissension between them about it,
Yeah.
but, like, they still could have just, like, done it way earlier.
I
think that's
didn't
why.
feel like they needed...
It just gave them a reason for
I
that
didn't feel
event to
like
happen
they
at the end.
needed the apple as, like, a bonus threat. Like, I thought having a giant dragon... Like, I thought that was good enough.
Yeah, that was enough giant.
Like,
threat.
I didn't feel like they needed, like, the art... Other than just having...
Oh, by the way, side note, the dragon looks really cool, but oh my gosh, this is like the weakest dragon ever. Like, if this was a D&D dragon, he was rolling nat ones all night. Like, there's this part where, like, the youngest of the gods, she, like, she falls in love with one of the human characters, with Freddy, and so the evil gods take her powers away, so she becomes, like, a normal girl.
Which I thought was going to stick, so that there would be a reasoning for, like... Or at least, like... So she's 6,000 years old, and Freddy's, like,
Also,
16.
another plot
and
hole
they
with that.
bring it up.
Yeah,
And then they... And
Freddy's
then,
dating a 6,000-year-old woman, and they
everyone's
kiss, and it's normal.
And
They don't
everyone's
care.
like, wow, that's really weird.
She's a pedophile.
And then they just do it anyway. And I'm like, no, you can't.
Why did they take all their notes from Eternals?
I don't
Even
know.
their outfits look the same.
They do look the same.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so
About the
that's super
dragon.
weird. Yeah, the dragon's like super lame. There's this part where like Calypso's riding the dragon. She has the big magic stick. She's like, eat them. And then the dragon like opens its mouth and shoots like a sonic beam at
for,
them
like,
that
20
does
minutes.
nothing for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Shazam like gets all like takes like his sweet time flying over there, and then he grabs it and like pulls it back a little bit. But like, why? Why did it do that?
The
It can
regular
shoot fire.
people.
Why did it do that?
But I thought what they were going to...
And then the stick. I want to talk about the stick just a little bit for 1 second. There's a part when they take away Anne's powers. They call her Anne. And she like warps space to get away from the beam. And then it like follows her and still hits her. Why didn't it do that to any of the other characters ever?
What do you mean?
So you know how like they were just dodging the beam like for most of it?
Yeah.
And then like when she shoots her with the beam, she like moves space and time to get away from it and like flips her all the way down to like a totally different part of the city. And then the beam like follows her and like still
No,
shoots
I think
her.
what happened was they shot it like directly at like...
Because she's in the sky on a
Audio
platform, and she ends on a building on the ground.
Audio
So they were not in the same. It was
yeah,
not parallel.
I feel like they... But they didn't realize... Like, I feel like how they were thinking of it is, it's like, she's here, like, the beam's coming from here, she's here, she, like, moved everything, and she moved back, and then the beam just kept going straight.
Yeah, but that is not at all.
No,
what
it doesn't
happened.
make sense, like, from a geography standpoint. 'cause
Which is
she
the
was-
only standpoint, because that's her power.
Because
is
she was
to
in
move
the
stuff
air.
around.
But, like, whatever.
So that's really dumb. There's this part. Okay, so I want to talk about the ending. So they convince one of the oldest god, to like be on the human side because she
Yes.
realizes that she was wrong. She realizes maybe genocide is a bad idea.
Well, no, they don't want to do genocide. It's just Calypso's the
Calypso.
only one who wants to do genocide.
Well, but she was considering it.
For really no reason.
So
Other than she's mad.
So she agrees to make the bubbles. They're all stuck in a bubble. She agrees to make the bubbles smaller.
Which,
so it,
apparently, real quick, what was going to happen before Gunn and Safran were hired was Henry Cavill Superman, Ben Affleck Batman, and Gal Gadot Wonder Woman were all going to attempt to get in and help out, but they couldn't because of the dome.
so they were just going to show up and do nothing.
They were going to show up and like try to interfere, and they
do
couldn't.
nothing.
That,
Okay,
that
well,
would explain why they're not there.
it's a good thing they cut him out because that would have been
that doesn't
stupid.
make any sense. Well, they cut 2 of them out.
Anyway, yeah. So she makes the bubble smaller. So now it's just Calypso, the dragon, the big magic tree that came out of the apple. There's a big magic tree, and Shazam. Only regular Zachary Levi Shazam. The rest of them are outside the bubble. They can't get in. It's just him, and he has to sacrifice himself to stop Calypso. Except he's holding the magic stick. What does the magic stick do?
Take away.
Does it work on gods?
Yes.
Yes, we see it because they take away Anne's powers. What does he do with it?
Shove it down the dragon's throat
And explode it. Why?
because he's dumb.
Yeah.
He's
So
an idiot.
That's really stupid.
He's like a total idiot. The
So
whole movie.
he blows himself up and dies.
Literally dies. Like
Actually dies. He is pronounced dead.
Yes.
Then they teleport
Somehow.
to Olympus. They don't explain how, because none of them have their
You know
powers
what?
at this point.
Maybe
They've all lost their powers.
Hold up. Maybe what they did is because he's a like it doesn't like you just have to be like a corpse. You don't have to be alive. Like they just took his like decrepit body and just like opened the door with it and then got in. Maybe that's how they got there.
Somehow they get to Olympus.
Or maybe the wizard can do it.
They're there. They're there now.
Oh, you know,
no, because he has no powers. Remember?
I don't know, but maybe you don't need it. Maybe if you're just like the person.
No, but his powers don't work at all.
I don't know. I was thinking either it worked for Anthea or it worked for...
No, because their powers were taken away too.
Yeah, they both don't have powers at the time.
So all of the Shazam family, none of them had powers at this point. They all had their powers taken away.
Which they could have, because they had the stick.
No, but it was broken now. It didn't work anymore.
Oh, right.
It lost its god
magic.
magic.
They needed Wonder Woman to come in and
So all right, I'm getting to that. So somehow they magically teleport to Olympus, which, by the way, in the DC canon has been destroyed. I guess that was a lie.
Well, no. They killed all the gods, except for some of them.
Except for the ones they didn't.
And I guess the Olympus is just like barren and wasteland.
Anyway, so they teleport to Olympus.
Yes.
They're burying, why Olympus? I don't know.
I don't know why they're burying them there. And
They
just like
at this point in the story, they don't know why their names are what they are. I mean, they know what the acronym is, but they don't have any emotional connection there.
Oh, why'd they go there?
Yeah, why'd they go to Olympus?
Oh, no reason.
Yeah, so they randomly go to Olympus to bury Billy
Why
Batson.
would you bury your son in like a random... You bury him like in the town you live in.
That would be like if I played a video game that took place in Rome, and then I like died in a car accident, and then my parents were like, you know what? Yeah, we're
burying him in Rome.
We're burying him in Rome because he played that video game about Rome that one time. Like, no, that would have been stupid. Anyway, they go to Olympus. They're burying him there. It's real sad. Everyone's real sad. The parents are real sad. The kids are real sad. The wizard's real sad and also there for some reason. And then Wonder Woman shows up.
Just out of nowhere.
She walks around the corner and she's like, "Hi, everybody. I'm Wonder Woman."
They play the theme. It goes...
I'm cool and Wonder Woman and God. And then the wizard's like, God, we need one of those.
Oh my gosh.
Would you kiss my magic stick
and
for
she goes,
me?
I will fix your magic
And then
stick.
she goes, yes, boom, your stick is fixed.
I'll give him credit. She did finally use those lightning powers she had in the first Wonder Woman
that she has never used
again.
since.
So good on them for
She is
finally
canonically
using those.
Zeus's daughter.
And has all of his powers.
Her legitimate daughter, because it's with him and Hera. So that's like his basically just another. Yeah, she's a god. Anyway,
she's a demigod. They say she's a demigod.
Yeah, but she isn't because she's the offspring of two gods. Anyway,
I thought she was the daughter of Zeus and like the lady who was the head at Themyscira.
she's also a god.
She is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
Then yeah, she's just a straight up god. I guess.
she goes, boom, your stick works again. He goes, yes, that's so cool. And then, and comes out of the ground. Other hand comes out of the ground. He sits up. Everyone goes, whoa, what? This is a silly, goofy moment and not time for us to be creeped out. Or maybe like sad or like happy or anything.
And then Billy's like really, really horny for Wonder Woman.
And then he goes, I have a
minutes.
spider in my teeth, but also a Wonder Woman you want to bang. And then she goes, bye-bye, doesn't respond, just leaves.
Just like, I'm out, thanks everybody.
And then the mom goes, what's with our kids and older women? And then the 6,000-year-old lady and the 16-year-old kiss. And then the movie ends.
Oh, and she has her powers back. And also...
all of them have their powers back
also
now.
Olympus is sealed and they all have their powers back and the wizard is fine. And he has a cool goatee
And
now.
he has a jacket now. He's real cool.
He's got a pretty cool outfit.
And Anne is still a pedophile.
Yep. I thought they were going to keep her with no powers so that she would age normally. So it would at least be like...
So they would do the sprite thing?
She would age, like saying she's like relatively 17 in God years. Like she would then age
But no,
normally.
they just straight up, they're like, oh no, she's 6,000 years
Which
old.
means like when Freddy's like 80, she'll look exactly the same.
Which is going to make him look super sus.
The point is it's really weird that they did it, acknowledged how weird it is, and then did it anyway.
Decided to do it anyway.
No, but, okay, apparently what happened was, so earlier in the movie, Wonder Woman appears in like a dream sequence.
Yeah, so Billy's having a dream where he's dating Wonder Woman.
Face, and then when they do, the wizard's like projecting into his dream, and it's his head on Wonder Woman's
And it's like
body.
a joke. It's funny. I thought it was funny.
It
I
was
fine with
fine. But like, apparently what happened was in that scene, it wasn't Gal Gadot.
It's a body double.
It's
obviously.
a body double, and they put his face on her.
Obviously.
And then when they shot the end, they shot it with a body double, like on set.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, Gal Gadot came in on a blue screen
Just did it.
and just did it in her place, and they just CGI'd her where the body double was.
Okay.
Which is also why it feels like she's not there, because she wasn't.
That's good. Good movie,
It's
guys.
just weird. It doesn't make it. It's just out of nowhere. It's the definition of ex machina.
Yeah, so in Latin, there's a phrase, Deus ex machina. You've probably heard it because there's a video game with that name. It means God from the machine.
Basically, in a play,
It refers to, in a play, where you would have a rig, usually like a harness. And at the end of the play, when things are at their worst, a god is lowered from above, and he comes and he fixes all their problems with his god
and then
powers.
leaves.
And then leaves. It is a trope literally as old as stories themselves. And back in like ancient Rome, they were like, let's not do this. This is like a lame ending.
It's the first way that writers were like, how do we get ourselves out of this situation? Oh, a god fixed it.
It was the first like plot convenience trope. And they are still relying on it
Straight up did it.
4,000 years later. And
then the movie ends and everyone's happy.
Maybe
and then
humans are just bad at telling stories.
And then there's 2 post-credit scenes. The first one, Amelia Harcourt and John Economos show up from Peacemaker.
And they're like, "Hey Shazam,
you
who is randomly in the middle of the woods
who's just
shooting
in like
cans by himself.
abandoned gas station, just like shooting bottles.
You want to join the Justice Society?" And he goes,
like,
"Is that the one with Wonder Woman on it?" And they go, "No." And he goes, "Okay, well I'll do it anyways."
What?
End of cutscene. Okay.
They do a joke about it, how it's poorly named, and then it ends.
Then there was another one, but we didn't stay for it.
Apparently, that one was, you remember in the first Shazam?
Yeah, so the first Shazam.
The post-credit scene of that.
Yes.
The Savannah's in like their prison.
The bad guy from Shazam 1.
And then Mr. Mind shows up, who's the little worm.
Who's a little worm.
He's like, Savannah, we should work together to formulate a plan. Apparently, this post-credit scene of this one was a joke where like he's still in the prison cell, and Mr. Mind comes back and is like, all right, I finished the plan. And the joke is that it's been 2 years.
It's been 2 years and nothing's
he's like,
happened.
why did it take so long? He's like, well, I'm a little worm, man.
That's a really good
work
plan.
real slow. So, which is a pretty good joke.
That's a good joke, but it's also kind of dumb.
I think so back when Jeff Johns was in charge, he was trying to force like all the comics he did into the stuff.
Yeah.
Mr. Mind was a character he used a lot when he was writing Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like happened was when they did that movie, he was like, we're going to do Mr. Mind in the sequel. And then now he's gone.
And so they didn't.
And so they're like, well, let's just make it a joke because we're not actually going to do it now.
Yeah, instead it's random.
But none of it
characters.
matters because none of it will lead to anything.
And this movie will not continue going.
Shazam
is a dead franchise.
won't reappear for like another 10 years, and at that point it'll be recast and it'll be a brand new thing.
Yeah, I think this is the last in the Shazam.
Oh, well, it's bombing
chapter.
hard, so yeah, it's not.
It's not just bombing hard. It's bombing worse than.
Yeah, it's literally doing worse than.
That
requires effort.
I don't know how you do that. How do you make
Honestly,
how do you do worse than Morbius?
The general thing is that no one cares.
Yeah,
no one's talking
it's
about
almost,
it.
Yeah, it's the same situation.
No one remembers the first Shazam.
It's been too long.
There's no big stars in it to get people interested. People just don't care.
Hey, Zachary Levi's real big with Chuck.
And then
fans.
I looked. There has not been a successful financially DC movie at the box office in the DCEU, not counting Joker and the Batman,
because they're kind of their own
first
thing.
Shazam. In 4 years ago. Just let that set in.
What have they really done since then?
Birds of Prey,
That doesn't count.
Wonder Woman 1984,
That should have been better.
The Suicide Squad,
Yeah, that was bad. Actually, wait, no, that was good.
Black Adam,
That was bad.
this.
I thought, wait, the Suicide Squad wasn't financially good?
No, it bombed hard. But it didn't come out, like, it came out.
That was like peak COVID.
It came out on HBO Max, and it was like the week that the Omega variant blew up.
Yeah.
And it came out like right in the middle of a COVID resurgence. So I feel like
so that one's kind of
I don't know if it would have done really well, but it would have done better if those two things hadn't been around.
Yeah.
And obviously COVID's been a factor in everything, but it was a rated R movie that came out day and date on HBO Max.
Yeah, no one was going to
all
the
the
theater.
teenagers just watched it at home, so they didn't have to bother to find like their mom and take them to the...
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Next movie.
I don't really want to go to the other ones because we've already been here for 2 hours.
All right. Well, I'm gonna talk real quick. Creed 3. I haven't seen Creed 1 or
3
2.
we saw a while
I thought
ago.
Creed 3 was okay.
I liked it. I thought they did a really good job. Honestly,
yeah, I didn't really have any big problems with it.
there was one big thing that didn't work for me.
What was that?
And it's been out long enough. I think we can talk about it, which is in the third act in the final boxing match.
Or the anime fight?
Where they start doing like cartoon effects in it.
Yeah, no, it legit becomes an anime
it
fight for
sucked
like
me
5
all
minutes.
the way out. I was like, hold up.
It
what's going
ends
on?
with an homage to Dragon Ball Z. You know that
Yeah.
thing where they punch each other both in the face?
Yeah.
That is like a shot for shot homage to
that's fine.
Dragon Ball.
But dumb part for me was like when they punch each other and they slide back and there's like a big cartoon wall there that they hit.
I thought that was like okay. I think it could have been done
There
better,
was one part I liked, which was when they go into like fighter vision and it's silent and there's no music. And
Yeah,
it's
that
just
was
the sounds
cool.
of them hitting each other. That would have worked for me. It's the fact that they go like all the way.
They go a little too big into the metaphor.
like Dutch angles and like cartoon sound effects. That threw me off.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think everything in that movie works. My only problem with it is that Rocky isn't in it.
Yeah, he's
And he
gone
doesn't
completely.
have to be, but there's two major scenes, and I'm going to spoil them. It starts with like his final retirement fight,
Mhm.
and I was like, Rocky would 100%
Rocky should have
be
been
there.
there. Yeah.
And then
There's even a part where like the mentor character comes and talks to him, and I'm like, this was obviously
that's
supposed to be Rocky. Yeah.
And then his mom dies, and they're at the funeral,
Rocky should
and
have been
Rocky's not there, and I'm like, come on, dude. And
there. How much does it cost for
no,
yourself?
it was because Sylvester Stallone's having a rights dispute with the producer because the producer owns all the rights to it, even though Stallone created the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I was just like, Stallone, you got like 10 years.
Buddy, come on.
This is the most successful movie in the
Come
franchise so
on.
far, and they're making it without you, buddy. And it goes with the other movie we saw, which was Scream 6, because Nev Campbell did the same thing, where they refused to be
Yeah,
in it.
so, okay, hold up. Would you recommend...
Oh, Creed? Yes,
Creed
100%.
Okay, yeah, same. I think Creed 3 is good. I didn't even see
It's
Creed
worth
1
your
and
time.
2. I think even without seeing the other ones, it's still a fine movie.
Yeah.
Still a good movie.
It's definitely one of the better
I will
Rocky
say,
Creed
though, I
movies.
think they missed some opportunity with his, like, wife character. I feel like her story is, like, genuinely more interesting than what he has going on. Where she's, like, a music producer who's going deaf. Like,
Yeah.
that's actually, like, really interesting. And, like, Creed, yeah, he's, like, a boxer and he's, like, retiring and he's going back. But, like, I don't really care about that. That doesn't sound that cool. Next up, we have Scream 6. All right. Now, y'all know how I feel about Scream 5. I really hated Scream 5. Did not enjoy that. That movie was insufferable garbage.
And Sam has only seen Screams 5 and now 6.
6 was okay.
I agree.
6 was all right. It wasn't great.
So if I were to rank them
There
right
were
now,
some bombastically stupid
but
moments.
it's mostly saved for the end.
Yeah,
the
but
first
all
two
the really
acts-
dumb stuff happens at the end.
All the first 2 acts really worked for me. As like a Scream movie, as like what we've done this 5 times before, like it felt good, it felt fresh, I wasn't bored. I like the cast a whole lot. I think the core 4 have a great chemistry. Some of the returning characters felt out of place, mostly Kirby and without Sydney or Dewey there, having just Gale is really weird, and especially because she has no one to play off of.
Yeah, she's just by herself.
She's just by herself, which was weird, and it felt like she just happened to be involved in this story that did not involve her in any way.
Yeah, it really didn't have anything to do with her.
She didn't have to be there, other than that Courtney Cox wanted to get paid. But honestly, it worked mostly for me. The gore was good. I don't think they used the setting to as big of an advantage as they could have. It's in New York, but like, there's no New York stuff in it. It's all just in like generic city USA.
They also have this setup where they're like in the Scream reference
There's a bat cave for Scream.
Bat cave. Okay, in the movie, there's a character who's like he's like a police character who like has apparently worked on like every screen case and has stolen every single piece of evidence.
Even though they've taken place in multiple places across the country.
And he's stolen every single piece of evidence for every single Scream case because his son was a really big fan of the Stab movies. Which was like, okay.
And also like,
okay, whatever.
They just let him have it.
Yeah, and no one ever questioned that.
They were like, well, he is a cop.
Oh, I guess spoilers. It's kind of a twist that he's the villain, but it's pretty obvious if you think about it for like a minute.
Okay, yeah, I guess we'll get into spoilers.
So spoilers, there's this cop character who keeps like accusing everyone else of being the murderer, which was like, okay, so then it's you, guy.
This was the first Scream movie where I was like, okay, it's these two.
Yeah, because so
like instantly I knew.
Yeah, there was like the roommate who was the like.
There's a redhead.
The redheaded roommate who's like kind of like she's very sex positive.
She's there.
And yeah, she's like working with her dad who's the police officer.
And then there's a third killer who's their brother, who's the brother,
like just kind of there.
Who I didn't think was the killer.
I didn't think he was the killer either.
Because he was basically, like, his name should have been Red Herring. Like, he was there just to be, like, a suspect.
And it turns out he
just
actually was the guy. And I didn't think they would
actually do it, but what I didn't factor into my brain was that they ran out of characters that it could be. And so it just had to be him.
Yeah.
Because there was no one else.
That and it's never established that he's related to the cop guy.
No, it is. That's his son.
No, but they never say that until the end of the movie.
No. They do say that the girl is related to him.
Yeah, they do that. And that's why I was confused. Because they talk about how she has a dad in the police office. Mm-hmm. And they're hanging out with her all the time. And her brother's there too.
Yeah.
They never mention that they're related at all, ever.
No.
They never talk about his dad being the same dad as her. Like, they're all hanging out in the same room multiple times, and they do not behave like siblings.
If they didn't tell their friends that, like, that's fine. But, like, the fact they go into the police station and the police officers are like, "Hey, isn't that your son?"
Yeah, none of them. They like, just
everyone else would know that, even if you didn't tell them.
And I know they didn't mention it because it was supposed to be a twist, but it was like,
how do you hide that from everybody?
It was really dumb. And like, what? How did that? Doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that,
okay, I want to talk about the ending a little bit. There's this really funny part where this character named Chad gets stabbed 27 times in the chest by two different characters. Like, they literally both grab him in the shoulder and they double team. They probably each stab him about 10 times.
But they didn't think.
And then they leave him holes down on the ground
for like an hour.
They chase another character around for like 30 minutes.
They do the whole third act.
Then at the very end of the movie, they bring him out on a stretcher and he's on oxygen.
And they're like, he's still alive.
And he takes his mask off and he's like, "Don't. Still alive, babe."
And then they make out.
And I'm like, dude, why are you on oxygen? Your lungs are liquid. What are you breathing with right now?
It's the first movie. It's the first slasher where they've had the problem of too few characters.
Jenna Ortega's character, who I don't remember, I'm just going to call her Jenna Ortega, gets stabbed in the back and in the stomach.
Yeah, I don't remember her
And
name.
she's bleeding out, running through the hallways, and then in the next scene, she sits down on the steps of the basement thing with her sister, and she's like, "Yeah, our childhood was just like hard and tough. I'm glad I have you to be in my life," and just like, and I'm like, "You're bleeding out right now. You have a hole in your stomach. Your intestines are leaking into the rest of your body."
There's too few characters because we're in spoilers, so they kill most of the supporting cast,
like in the first murder scene,
very early on, and so we're really just stuck with the main characters who aren't Ghostface for sure,
because we know because they were in the last one.
Yeah, and we go the whole movie, but we have no one to kill, and so they keep getting attacked and they get stabbed. And they are fine.
And like the Ghostface guy doesn't even kill like random people. Like he could kill just like other people.
There's 4 characters who in any other Scream movie would have died from their injuries, but because they refuse to kill off any of the main people,
they just don't.
They don't. Kirby is the only one where I'm like, okay.
Who's Kirby?
The blonde one.
Oh, the FBI.
The FBI. One. She's from Scream 4.
Yeah, she gets stabbed like 5 times.
She's the only one where I was like, okay.
And shot.
I was like, that was the only one where I was like, okay, maybe she survived because she probably had a bulletproof vest on,
but she didn't.
But maybe
because they show later on, she like pulls up her shirt and like because she's like the wound.
Maybe she did. Blood she put it on later.
Maybe she took it off.
This is me giving them like the maximum amount of
like suspension of disbelief.
Yes. Maybe she had that, and maybe she had like FBI injury training where she knows how to like treat her wounds or whatever. But like Gail Weathers, news reporter,
regular person,
60-year-old woman, right?
Gets stabbed twice.
Fine. But okay, even there, it's like, all right.
They got there right when she
away.
got stabbed.
Okay.
Yeah. She got stabbed and they like immediately got there.
And then Mindy stabbed like 4 times on the subway, sitting on the ground bleeding out.
Yeah, she should have died.
Definitely would have died.
That made no sense.
Chad.
Now her friend, she does like Mindy's friend does like call the ambulance or whatever.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he spots her, but she still.
It's the subway and it's New York. So they're gonna take a minute to get there.
Yeah.
No, the dumbest part about hers is that later on in the movie, which takes place on the same day, she's up and walking around. And
she's like chill.
But Chad is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Organs were blended.
He was a man made of knife wounds.
I'm gonna Google how many times he was stabbed.
It was at least like 15.
It had to be like over 20 for sure.
But like he gets stabbed 20 times. And then he is dumped on the ground. Unconscious, bleeding out from 20 different holes. And then the whole third act happens, which is about 15 to 20 minutes in length.
Okay, so canonically, he is stabbed in the chest 7 times.
It was more than that.
Even if it wasn't
he was
more than that,
7 times.
That's still ridiculous.
Say he's bleeding out on the ground with zero medical assistance, is unconscious for 25 minutes. About the length of the rest of the third act, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, then the ambulances pull up. And then all the other characters are treated. And then later on...
Oh, no. He was stabbed 7 times in Scream 5.
What was he?
In Scream 6, it's undisclosed how many times he was stabbed.
Chad stabbed 6. Anyone's count. Go to his the New York Ghostface.
Yeah, I looked the wiki page. It only says how many times he was stabbed.
It just says he was stabbed. But he's stabbed like 15 times. And then he lies on the ground for 20 minutes. And
probably
then
more than that.
Probably another 20 while they treat everyone else and the ambulances get all settled in.
Yeah, because everyone else is like carted out to the ambulance
and
first.
then they wheel him out.
And he's fine.
That's not even when he's in the hospital. That's him being wheeled out.
He was just stabbed.
That is like paramedics. That is on field, like throw bandages on him so we can get him to the treatment center, right? That is like, he would be bleeding out probably an hour before he got actual necessary medical treatment.
He basically had his stomach put in a food processor.
He is fine. That is absurd. Like, what? Now there's no risk.
And he wasn't even like a necessary character.
No, he should have died.
Yeah, he had no further purpose in the movie.
But like, that just eliminates all risk for any further installments. Because we've now seen that if...
Chad is invincible.
Chad is literally invincible.
He was stabbed 7 times in Scream 5 and infinity times in this one.
Literally RZA Chad. Unbeatable. Jenna Ortega's in love with him for no particular reason.
Just because he's around.
Just because he's the only dude there.
He's the only dude who isn't dead in her life.
Just the ultimate RZA Chad. Anyway, that's Scream 6. I would recommend it, though.
It's fun. It's fine. It's fine. It's
the only movie we saw, the only movie that came out that we didn't see was 65 Million Dinosaurs.
I wanted to see it, but we didn't.
But apparently it's
I
not
did
very
see
good.
Operation Fortune, though.
You did.
I can talk about that for a minute.
Don't. I need to.
I'm just going to talk real quick. Ending was good. I actually liked the ending a lot. The rest of the movie was real dumb.
It's the opposite of the other two movies we talked about.
All right. I'd say it's probably like a 5 out of 10. It's like the most average movie ever. The dialogue is really brain dead. And Aubrey Plaza is really miscast, but she's hot, so who cares? All right.
So that's movies in March, everybody.
That's all the marches.
There is 2 episodes. There's 1 episode left before we have to do that.
Oh yeah.
Get hyped for that. I think we know what we're doing.
We have plans that we cannot share.
We won't share them. But next week is John Wick 4.
Woo-hoo.
And I guess that's when we'll talk about Mando.
We could talk a little bit about Mando.
No, but we've been going for like 3 hours.
Mando good. Go watch it.
It's
all right.
good if, yeah.
Well, else we got anything else?
That's going to be everything for this week. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe. You're available on all of the audio podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, wherever you weirdos listen that isn't Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Of course, available here on YouTube at youtube.com/McDonCast. There's a Clips channel. Clips. Sam streams on McDon Streams.
And we got the Twitch, McDon Streams. We're on Twitter and Instagram.
Twitter, McDon Media. Instagram, I think we're at the McDonCast.
McDon Media, I think.
Or Media, one of them. Look it up, you'll find us.
Alrighty, and that's everything for
we'll
today's
be back
show.
next week.
You guys have a good time. Bye-bye.
Bye.